outros jogadores argentinos. Para o Mister, a nível pessoal, isso também acaba por trazer um sentimento especial. Obrigada.
¿Qué tal? Buenas noches para todos. No, a ver, creo que vamos a enfrentar un equipo que le gusta intentar tener la pelota, que tiene jugadores de jerarquía dentro del campo de juego. Evidentemente son jugadores con una trayectoria impresionante, que si les dejas tener la pelota saben cómo generar peligro. Entonces me parece que por ahí un poco va a pasar el trámite del partido. Tenemos que intentar tratar de controlar el juego a través de la posesión, tratar de tener la pelota nosotros, tratar de recuperarla lo más rápido posible, tratar de ser intensos y agresivos a la hora de no tener el balón, para poder pensar en el arco de enfrente y poder intentar buscar los 3 puntos. Con relación a lo otro, bueno, al final siempre pensé el día que me toque como entrenador preparar un partido contra Messi como uno lo iba a plantear. Creo que elegimos pensar en nosotros en ese sentido, elegimos estar juntos a la hora de recuperar, tratar de ser agresivos en la traspérdida, porque al final esos jugadores, como dije antes, cuanto menos tienen la pelota, menos daño te hacen. Evidentemente no podemos controlar todo, pero bueno, creo que tener la posibilidad de enfrentarlos al final como entrenador es un desafío más, y creo que también es un motivo más de celebrar esta profesión.
Ok, TVI?
Olá, Mister. Olá, João Pedro Roca da TV da CNN. Queria perguntar se acha que coletivamente, taticamente, a sua equipa é mais forte do que o Inter de Miami, está mais preparada, e que se nos explicasse essa questão de vocês idolatrarem o Messi, ou seja, todos os jogadores com quem falámos, o Neumann, o Alain, eles idolatram o Messi. Não sei se, como treinador, como argentino, também o idolatra dessa forma.
Sí, creo que eso de los equipos, buenas noches, eso de los equipos más fuertes, al final en el fútbol son 11 contra 11 y para ser más fuerte hay que demostrarlo dentro del campo de juego. Estamos viendo los resultados en este mundial de clubes, donde en los papeles los equipos más fuertes no están logrando imponerse de una manera categórica, salvo algunas excepciones. Entonces, a partir de ahí, subestimar a cualquier tipo de rivales me parece que sería un error. Nosotros sabemos de nuestras fortalezas, sabemos del escudo que representamos, sabemos cuál es nuestra historia, qué es lo que queremos hacer dentro del campo de juego. Al final creo que después de un partido como el de Palmeiras, donde nos llevó a algunos ritmos que veníamos buscando luego de cerrar la temporada, de tener esas pequeñas vacaciones y de hacer esa preépoca con algunos juegos amistosos, es incomparable con el competir y con el tener un marco de partido real. Entonces, evidentemente hemos recuperado a los jugadores en estos días, hemos trabajado poco el plan de partido dentro del campo, si lo hicimos con imágenes y en el entrenamiento de hoy un rato de manera colectiva y ya dentro del campo de juego. ¿Y cuál era la segunda pregunta?
Como entrenador também idolatra.
Please, yeah.
Evidentemente.
Wait, we need for the translation, sorry. Wait, take the mic again, please. Thank you.
Perdón.
Translation.
Como é que se explica essa...
Sí, igual comprendí, tranquilo.
Sí, es que é para los otros dos.
Dale.
Sí, por favor.
Le preguntaba cómo se idolatra a Messi, cómo se explica eso.
Sí, bueno, para nosotros los argentinos, Lionel Messi nos ha dado muchas alegrías, pero en el momento de tener que enfrentarlo, para mí es un jugador del Inter de Miami al que tenemos que tratar de marcar bien, de que la pelota no pase por él, y creo que eso nos va a acercar a ganar. Intentamos, como dije antes, pensar en nosotros, que la estrategia defensiva no dependa de un solo jugador, sino que si estamos juntos y somos agresivos y sabemos presionar a los posibles pasadores que les puedan dar la pelota a Messi, capaz que por ahí pasa también un poco la clave de cortar ese circuito que él sabe encontrar entre líneas y generar peligro.
RTP, please. One question at a time, please, okay? It should be easier to the translation and to the answers, please. RTP.
Oh, gracias. Michelle Kaufman, Miami Herald. Quiero hablar en español también. Quería saber cómo tú conoces a Messi, tú conoces a Javier Mascherano, a Ustari, son de la misma edad que tú. ¿Cuál es la relación que tú tienes con ellos, que también tú lo conoces? Gracias.
Hola, buenas tardes. O buenas noches ya. No, a ver, tanto a Mascherano como a Ustari los conozco obviamente por la gran trayectoria que tuvieron Ustari sigue siendo futbolista y Mascherano como exfutbolista. No tengo la posibilidad de conocerlos personalmente. Como entrenador vengo siguiendo la carrera de Javier tanto en la selección argentina como ahora como entrenador de Inter de Miami. Creo que es un equipo que está evolucionando, que tiene buena forma de circular, de tener un buen control de balón, que si los deja jugar encuentran diferentes ventajas y le dan un sentido a la posesión. Y me parece que nuestro trabajo va a ser, como dije en la pregunta anterior, intentar cortar ese circuito de circulación para poder tener la pelota nosotros y ser protagonistas. Al final la esencia de Porto, lo que queremos ver dentro del campo de juego es ser protagonistas a través de la posesión, a través de pensar en el arco rival, a través de ser agresivos y cuanto más tengamos la pelota nosotros, más cerca vamos a estar del triunfo.
Agora sim, RTP.
Olá Martim, João Pedro Silva, RTP. Martim, sente que este Porto está mais próximo daquilo que pretende já nesta fase da temporada? E se em relação a este grupo onde o Porto está inserido, se de facto o Porto e o Palmeiras são as equipas mais fortes e que podem ter mais facilidade, entre aspas, en llegar à próxima fase?
Buenas noches. Hay un montón de facetas del juego que ya lo hemos hablado, ¿no? A lo largo de la época y a lo largo de la conferencia de prensa anterior, donde nos vamos acercando o vamos siendo el equipo que queremos ser. El otro día, no tengo la estadística exacta, pero creo que fueron 38 cruzamientos que hizo Palmeiras y nosotros supimos defenderlo. Y ahí hay un trabajo de línea muy, muy, muy fuerte y de mucho trabajo y de muchas horas que no empezó esta semana. Desde el primer día en enero que nosotros venimos trabajando la línea, cómo reducir los espacios, cómo desde dónde defender, cuándo hundirse. Evidentemente cada rival te propone algo distinto. Sabemos que Messi puede recortar y tirarle un centro a Alba cuando Alba se incorpora por detrás. Entonces hay diferentes formas de defender esa situación. Y sabíamos que Palmeiras centraba del lado de Piquerés, por ejemplo, y que centraba menos del lado derecho, que Estevao se jugaba el 1 contra 1. Entonces todas esas cosas se preparan y se ven en cada partido. Entonces eso de que el equipo se va acercando al equipo que queremos ser, cada partido el equipo tiene que ser de una forma distinta. Evidentemente tenemos una esencia a la hora de jugar, ¿no? Creo que fuimos competitivos, creo que a nivel defensivo va a haber momentos donde vamos a ser ultra presionantes y va a haber momentos como el partido del otro día donde entendíamos que no nos favorecía ser ultra presionantes porque Palmeiras es un equipo muy directo que junta dos pases y te pone a correr a la profundidad, ya sea del delantero, ya sea de Estevao, ya sea de Mauricio, ya sea de Facu Torres que no jugó, desde Piquerés, desde Anderson. Entonces no nos convenía saltar para dejar ese 1 contra 1 que podían aprovechar el espacio, por eso saltábamos de adentro y no desde afuera. Entonces todas esas cosas que yo te estoy contando ahora se ven en los partidos, pero las vemos nosotros. El 2 contra 1 entre Mora y Varela cuando Ríos y Aníbal Moreno no sabían a quién saltar al principio del juego, después ajustaron diferente y encontramos otro tipo de ventajas. Evidentemente nos costó tener buena circulación o más circulaciones buenas o terminar algunas circulaciones buenas, pero bueno, al final el fútbol es eso, ¿no? No solo se analiza a través del resultado final del marcador, sino la jugada se analiza a través del resultado. Porque la misma jugada que pudo terminar una situación en un gol para nosotros, termina en una situación de gol para el rival y todos hablan de que llegó Palmeiras y no hablan de la construcción de esa jugada porque nos quedamos en el resultado, porque fue desfavorable la finalización de la acción. Entonces son esas cosas que al final contestar si el equipo se acerca o no se acerca a lo que queremos ser, nosotros sabemos lo que hacemos y sabemos cuáles son nuestros pequeños triunfos. Después está el resultado, que es ganar. Nosotros queremos ganar, evidentemente. Y a partir de ahí el ganar quizás resalta o subraya, como era en portugués. Esto ya lo dije. porque no la palabra subrayar, bueno, destaca este tipo de situaciones que por ahí al no irte con el resultado a favor quedan en el aire. ¿Y lo otro qué era?
Ya está, ¿no? Ya está.
Una sola pregunta, gracias.
Martín, buenas noches, felicitaciones. Siguiendo el hilo conductor de cada una de estas respuestas, primero te pregunto cómo te definís vos, porque recién definías al equipo, cómo te definís vos como entrenador, sobre todo porque uno puede percibir por lo que has hecho en todos estos equipos y si tenés el equipo confirmado.
Hola, Marcelo, buenas noches. Sí, bueno, al final nos definimos, no yo como entrenador, sino nosotros como cuerpo técnico. Nos gusta planificar bien cada partido. Creo que le damos un sentido a nuestro equipo a través de lo que hace el rival. A partir de lo que hace el rival nos gusta entender diferentes formas de defender, modificando los cómo, pero nunca el qué, porque el qué es esa esencia. ¿Qué hacemos? Es casi siempre lo mismo. Cómo lo hacemos va cambiando según el rival. Entonces nos gusta a partir de ahí ser un equipo inteligente, como dije antes, que por momentos hay rivales donde no podemos dejarle dar ese primer pase como si le hemos dejado a Palmeiras para cerrar circuitos, y en otros partidos nos tocará ser muy agresivos en la presión para poder quitar en la primera línea, pero siempre nos gusta recuperar la pelota lo antes posible porque nos gusta tenerla. Y a partir de tenerla, me gusta el equipo que sabe interpretar lo que pide cada acción. Me gusta el jugador inteligente que va interpretando el juego otra vez en función de lo que hace el rival. Porque nosotros sabemos cómo queremos atacar o de qué forma queremos atacar, pero cómo vamos a atacar en cada acción al final me lo va a decir el rival. Porque según quién salte del rival es la ventaja que me está otorgando, y a partir de ese salto vamos a encontrar diferentes ventajas. Puede haber una ventaja a través de un pase, puede haber una ventaja en el espacio, ¿sí? O a través de un hombre libre. Y creo que en gran parte de esa evolución que me preguntaba tu colega es donde hacemos mucho énfasis, ¿no? Porque el jugador, cuando se vuelve un jugador inteligente que entiende el juego a través de las ventajas, empieza a fluir mejor el equipo. Creo que el otro día hemos encontrado bien la ventaja, pero desde el gesto técnico no la aprovechamos. Desde el gesto técnico, desde el campo, era un campo que no lo dije yo, lo dijo también el entrenador rival, estaba pesado, no estaba parejo, entonces el jugador está acostumbrado, nuestros jugadores están acostumbrados a jugar en campos más rápidos, y eso inconscientemente te genera una duda a la hora de la ejecución. Pero nos gusta ser protagonistas, nos gusta pensar en el arco rival y nos gusta controlar los partidos. Hay veces que se puede controlar a través de la pelota, hay veces que se puede controlar a través de quitar rápido y ser verticales, y hay veces como el otro día que nos tocó controlar los últimos 15 minutos desde defendernos, porque entendíamos que nos íbamos quedando sin piernas. Y al final cuando estás en el campo de juego con la hinchada de rival que te empuja y parece, pero después le pones mute al partido y no pasó nada. Entonces todo el contexto hace que haya pasado de todo, pero cuando le pones mute y lo ves de vuelta y sentís que no pasó nada, es porque lo controlaste o controlaste esa situación del partido. Me extenso, hoy tengo mucha ganas de hablar hoy. El equipo, mañana lo vas a saber.
Fernando Eurico, Antena 1.
Olá Martim, Fernando Eurico da Antena 1. Aprecio sobretudo essa fome de falar, porque gostamos de escutar. Eu perguntava-lhe se, atendendo aos resultados da primeira jornada do grupo, se este jogo com o Inter de Miami ainda se torna mais importante, porque ganhando o Porto depende apenas do que fizer na última jornada para passar à próxima fase. É por isso um jogo de veras importante o de amanhã?
Buenas noches. Y en un formato mundial donde hay 3 partidos, todos los partidos son importantes, porque si no obtenés un buen resultado en uno de los partidos estás lejos de clasificar. Entonces, sin lugar a duda, el partido de mañana se torna el más importante porque es el que viene, y a pesar de sacar un resultado positivo, el último partido también tenés que sacar un resultado positivo para avanzar. Así que nos gusta enfocarnos en el presente, que es el partido de mañana.
Duas para fechar, a bola, por favor.
Boa noite, Martim. Tomás Moreira para a bola. Queria perguntar-lhe se lhe tem surpreendido o grande equilíbrio entre as equipas da Europa e da América do Sul, como alguém que já esteve nas duas realidades.
Hola, buenas noches. Sí, puedo hablar de los equipos de América o de América del Sur y de Europa, no así de los otros porque desconozco un poco, pero creo que los equipos sudamericanos son siempre competitivos y que tienen ese hambre y ese plus donde te van a competir hasta el final, no te van a dar nunca el partido por perdido ni ninguna acción y que saben también, son equipos grandes, que saben jugar instancias finales, que tienen mucha historia detrás, que han ganado títulos importantes. Creo que al equipo europeo le está costando esto de haber parado, ¿sí? Quizás el calendario en ese sentido es desfavorable y va a ser una segunda jornada muy interesante, ¿no? Porque vamos a empezar a ver esa realidad y a ver cómo se van desarrollando los partidos.
Para fechar aqui à frente.
Buenas noches, Martín. Fernando Petrocelli de Diario AS. Inter Miami ha sufrido muchos problemas con las transiciones de los rivales en esta temporada y tus equipos se han caracterizado por ser muy ofensivos, Independiente del Valle, Cruz Azul, lo mismo que has hecho con Porto. ¿Piensas por momentos resignar un poco la posesión el día de mañana para que Inter entre en esa trampa y poder apostar a la velocidad por afuera? ¿O dices, no, mira, mi estilo es tener la pelota y pese a que el rival sufra las transiciones, yo voy a morir con mi diario? Gracias.
Buenas noches. Bueno, lo decía anteriormente, nosotros queremos hacernos de la bola y al final encontramos o planificamos la forma de defender para cómo hacernos de la bola. Evidentemente si defendés más cerca de tu campo tenés más espacio para generar una transición, pero no por el hecho de querer generar una transición voy a defender cerca de mi arco si eso no me favorece a la hora de quitarles la pelota. En el caso de Palmeiras elegimos ir 2 contra 3 en la primera línea y eso nos hacía menos presionantes y por ahí nos tocaba defender en algunas situaciones de un bloque medio bajo y hemos generado algunas transiciones a partir de ahí. Y en el partido de mañana tendremos nuestra estrategia para ver cómo le vamos a robar la pelota al rival o intentar robar para hacernos de la bola y tratar de generar peligro. No se puede controlar absolutamente todo el partido y en alguna situación seguramente alguna o 2 o 3 o las que fueran estaremos cerca de nuestro arco y cuando la robemos, si es que conseguimos robar, tener que aprovechar la transición. Al final las transiciones no son difíciles solo para el Inter, hoy las transiciones en el fútbol en espacio grande son difíciles para cualquier equipo.
É tudo. Muito obrigado. Até amanhã.
Chao, buenas noches.
Muchas gracias por tomar el tiempo de venir a contestar a la prensa. Gracias.
Ouvimos aqui a conferência de imprensa de Martim Anselmi, dando visão ao encontro do Futebol Clube do Porto diante.
Questions. We'll start back with Porto Canal, please.
Olá, Mister. Boa noite. Carolina Cardoso, em direito para o Porto Canal. Esta vai ser uma jornada certamente importante para as contas do grupo e por isso perguntar-lhe o que é que está à espera, quer do Futebol Clube do Porto, ou seja, que o Futebol Clube do Porto é que vai entrar em campo e também o que está à espera do Inter de Miami. E uma segunda pergunta mais a nível pessoal. O Futebol Clube do Porto vai enfrentar uma equipa que tem muitos argentinos. Do outro lado estará Javier Mascherano, também Lionel Messi, entre outros jogadores argentinos. Para o Mister, a nível pessoal, isso também acaba por trazer um sentimento especial. Obrigada.
¿Qué tal? Buenas noches para todos. No, a ver, creo que vamos a enfrentar un equipo que le gusta intentar tener la pelota, que tiene jugadores de jerarquía dentro del campo de juego. Evidentemente son jugadores con una trayectoria impresionante, que si les dejas tener la pelota saben cómo generar peligro. Entonces me parece que por ahí un poco va a pasar el trámite del partido. Tenemos que intentar tratar de controlar el juego a través de la posesión, tratar de tener la pelota nosotros, tratar de recuperarla lo más rápido posible, tratar de ser intensos y agresivos a la hora de no tener el balón para poder pensar en el arco de enfrente y poder intentar buscar los 3 puntos. Con relación a lo otro, bueno, al final siempre pensé el día que me toque como entrenador preparar un partido contra Messi como uno lo iba a plantear. Creo que elegimos pensar en nosotros en ese sentido, elegimos estar juntos a la hora de recuperar, tratar de ser agresivos en la traspérdida, porque al final esos jugadores, como dije antes, cuanto menos tienen la pelota, menos daño te hacen. Evidentemente no podemos controlar todo, pero bueno, creo que tener la posibilidad de enfrentarlos al final como entrenador es un desafío más, y creo que también es un motivo más de celebrar esta profesión.
Ok, TVI.
Olá, Mister. Olá, João Pedro Roca da TV da CNN. Queria perguntar se acha que coletivamente, taticamente, a sua equipa é mais forte do que o Inter de Miami, está mais preparada, e que se nos explicasse essa questão de vocês idolatrarem o Messi, ou seja, todos os jogadores com quem falámos, o Newan, o Alain, eles idolatram o Messi. Não sei se, como treinador, como argentino, também o idolatra dessa forma.
Sí, creo que eso de los equipos, buenas noches, eso de los equipos más fuertes, al final en el fútbol son 11 contra 11 y para ser más fuerte hay que demostrarlo dentro del campo de juego. Estamos viendo los resultados en este mundial de clubes donde en los papeles los equipos más fuertes no están logrando imponerse de una manera categórica, salvo algunas excepciones. Entonces, a partir de ahí, subestimar a cualquier tipo de rivales me parece que sería un error. Nosotros sabemos nuestra fortaleza, sabemos del escudo que representamos, sabemos cuál es nuestra historia, qué es lo que queremos hacer dentro del campo de juego. Al final creo que después de un partido como el de Palmeiras, donde nos llevó a algunos ritmos que veníamos buscando luego de cerrar la temporada, de tener esas pequeñas vacaciones y de hacer esa preépoca con algunos juegos amistosos, es incomparable con el competir y con el tener un marco de partido real. Entonces, evidentemente, hemos recuperado a los jugadores en estos días, hemos trabajado poco el plan de partido dentro del campo, si lo hicimos con imágenes y en el entrenamiento de hoy un rato de manera colectiva y ya dentro del campo de juego. ¿Y cuál era la segunda pregunta?
Please, yeah.
Evidentemente.
Wait, we need for the translation, sorry. Wait, take the mic again, please. Thank you.
Perdón.
Translation.
Como é que se explica essa...
Sí, igual comprendí, tranquilo.
Sí, es que es para los otros dos.
Dale.
Sí, por favor.
Le preguntaba cómo se idolatra a Messi, cómo se explica eso.
Sí, bueno, para nosotros los argentinos, Lionel Messi nos ha dado muchas alegrías, pero en el momento de tener que enfrentarlo, para mí es un jugador del Inter de Miami al que tenemos que tratar de marcar bien, de que la pelota no pase por él, y creo que eso nos va a acercar a ganar. Intentamos, como dije antes, pensar en nosotros, que la estrategia defensiva no dependa de un solo jugador, sino que si estamos juntos y somos agresivos y sabemos presionar a los posibles pasadores que les puedan dar la pelota a Messi, capaz que por ahí pasa también un poco la clave de cortar ese circuito que él sabe encontrar entre líneas y generar peligro.
RTP, please. One question at a time, please, okay? It should be easier to the translation and to the answers, please. RTP.
Oh, gracias. Michelle Kaufman, Miami Herald. Quiero hablar en español también. Quería saber cómo tú conoces a Messi, tú conoces a Javier Mascherano, a Ustari, son de la misma edad que tú. ¿Cuál es la relación que tú tienes con ellos, que también tú lo conoces? Gracias.
Hola, buenas tardes. O buenas noches ya. No, a ver, tanto a Mascherano como a Ustari los conozco obviamente por la gran trayectoria que tuvieron Ustari sigue siendo futbolista y Mascherano como exfutbolista. No tengo la posibilidad de conocerlos personalmente. Como entrenador vengo siguiendo la carrera de Javier tanto en la selección argentina como ahora como entrenador de Inter de Miami. Creo que es un equipo que está evolucionando, que tiene buena forma de circular, de tener un buen control del balón, que si los deja jugar encuentran diferentes ventajas y saben, le dan un sentido a la posesión. Y me parece que nuestro trabajo va a ser, como dije en la pregunta anterior, intentar cortar ese circuito de circulación para poder tener la pelota nosotros y ser protagonistas. Al final la esencia de Porto, lo que queremos ver dentro del campo de juego es ser protagonistas a través de la posesión, a través de pensar en el arco rival, a través de ser agresivos y cuanto más tengamos la pelota nosotros, más cerca vamos a estar del triunfo.
Agora sim, RTP.
Olá Martim, João Pedro Silva, RTP. Martim, sente que este Porto está mais próximo daquilo que pretende já, nesta fase da temporada, e se em relação a este grupo onde o Porto está inserido, se de facto o Porto e o Palmeiras são as equipas mais fortes e que podem ter mais facilidade, entre aspas, em chegar à próxima fase?
Buenas noches. Bueno, hay un montón de facetas del juego que ya lo hemos hablado, ¿no? A lo largo de la época y a lo largo de la conferencia de prensa anterior, donde nos vamos acercando o vamos siendo el equipo que queremos ser. El otro día, no tengo la estadística exacta, pero creo que fueron 38 cruzamientos que hizo Palmeiras y nosotros supimos defenderlo. Y ahí hay un trabajo de línea muy fuerte y de mucho trabajo y de muchas horas que no empezó esta semana. Desde el primer día en enero que nosotros venimos trabajando la línea, cómo reducir los espacios, cómo desde dónde defender, cuándo hundirse. Evidentemente cada rival te propone algo distinto. Sabemos que Messi puede recortar y tirarle un centro a Alba cuando Alba se incorpora por detrás. Entonces hay diferentes formas de defender esa situación. Y sabíamos que Palmeiras centraba del lado de Piquerés, por ejemplo, y que centraba menos del lado derecho, que Estevao se jugaba el 1 contra 1. Entonces todas esas cosas se preparan y se ven en cada partido. Entonces eso de que el equipo se va acercando al equipo que queremos ser, cada partido el equipo tiene que ser de una forma distinta. Evidentemente tenemos una esencia a la hora de jugar, ¿no? Creo que fuimos competitivos, creo que a nivel defensivo va a haber momentos donde vamos a ser ultra presionantes y va a haber momentos como el partido del otro día donde entendíamos que no nos favorecía ser ultra presionantes porque Palmeiras es un equipo muy directo que junta dos pases y te pone a correr a la profundidad, ya sea del delantero, ya sea de Estevao, ya sea de Mauricio, ya sea de Facu Torres que no jugó, desde Piquerés, desde Anderson. Entonces no nos convenía saltar para dejar ese 1 contra 1 que podían aprovechar el espacio, por eso saltábamos de adentro y no desde afuera. Entonces todas esas cosas que yo te estoy contando ahora se ven en los partidos, pero las vemos nosotros. El 2 contra 1 entre Mora y Varela cuando Ríos y Aníbal Moreno no sabían a quién saltar al principio del juego, después ajustaron diferente y encontramos otro tipo de ventajas. Evidentemente nos costó tener buena circulación o más circulaciones buenas o terminar algunas circulaciones buenas, pero bueno, al final el fútbol es eso, ¿no? No solo se analiza a través del resultado final del marcador, sino la jugada se analiza a través del resultado, porque la misma jugada que pudo terminar una situación en un gol para nosotros termina en una situación de gol para el rival y todos hablan de que llegó Palmeiras y no hablan de la construcción de esa jugada porque nos quedamos en el resultado, porque fue desfavorable la finalización de la acción. Entonces son esas cosas que al final contestar si el equipo se acerca o no se acerca a lo que queremos ser, nosotros sabemos lo que hacemos y sabemos cuáles son nuestros pequeños triunfos. Después está el resultado, que es ganar. Nosotros queremos ganar, evidentemente. Y a partir de ahí el ganar quizás resalta o subraya, como era en portugués, esto ya lo dije, porque no la palabra subrayar, bueno, destaca este tipo de situaciones que por ahí al no irte con el resultado a favor quedan en el aire. Y lo otro que era.
Ya está, ¿no? Ya está.
Una sola pregunta, gracias.
Martín, buenas noches, felicitaciones. Siguiendo el hilo conductor de cada una de estas respuestas, primero te pregunto cómo te definís vos, porque recién definías al equipo, cómo te definís vos como entrenador, sobre todo porque uno puede percibir por lo que has hecho en todos estos equipos y si tenés el equipo confirmado.
Hola, Marcelo, buenas noches. Sí, bueno, al final nos definimos, no yo como entrenador, sino nosotros como cuerpo técnico. Nos gusta planificar bien cada partido. Creo que le damos un sentido a nuestro equipo a través de lo que hace el rival. A partir de lo que hace el rival nos gusta entender diferentes formas de defender, modificando los cómo, pero nunca el qué, porque el qué es esa esencia. ¿Qué hacemos? Es casi siempre lo mismo. Cómo lo hacemos va cambiando según el rival. Entonces nos gusta a partir de ahí ser un equipo inteligente, como dije antes, que por momentos hay rivales donde no podemos dejarle dar ese primer pase como si le hemos dejado a Palmeiras para cerrar circuitos, y en otros partidos nos tocará ser muy agresivos en la presión para poder quitar en la primera línea, pero siempre nos gusta recuperar la pelota lo antes posible porque nos gusta tenerla. Y a partir de tenerla, me gusta el equipo que sabe interpretar lo que pide cada acción. Me gusta el jugador inteligente que va interpretando el juego otra vez en función de lo que hace el rival. Porque nosotros sabemos cómo queremos atacar o de qué forma queremos atacar, pero cómo vamos a atacar en cada acción al final me lo va a decir el rival. Porque según quién salte del rival es la ventaja que me está otorgando, y a partir de ese salto vamos a encontrar diferentes ventajas. Puede haber una ventaja a través de un pase, puede haber una ventaja en el espacio, ¿sí? O a través de un hombre libre. Y creo que en gran parte de esa evolución que me preguntaba tu colega es donde hacemos mucho énfasis, ¿no? Porque el jugador, cuando se vuelve un jugador inteligente que entiende el juego a través de las ventajas, empieza a fluir mejor el equipo. Creo que el otro día hemos encontrado bien la ventaja, pero desde el gesto técnico no la aprovechamos. Desde el gesto técnico, desde el campo, era un campo que no lo dije yo, lo dijo también el entrenador rival, estaba pesado, no estaba parejo, entonces el jugador está acostumbrado, nuestros jugadores están acostumbrados a jugar en campos más rápidos, y eso inconscientemente te genera una duda a la hora de la ejecución. Pero nos gusta ser protagonistas, nos gusta pensar en el arco rival y nos gusta controlar los partidos. Hay veces que se puede controlar a través de la pelota, hay veces que se puede controlar a través de quitar rápido y ser verticales, y hay veces, como el otro día, que nos tocó controlar los últimos 15 minutos desde defendernos, porque entendíamos que nos íbamos quedando sin piernas. Y al final, cuando estás en el campo de juego con la hinchada de rival que te empuja y parece, pero después le pones mute al partido y no pasó nada. Entonces todo el contexto hace que haya pasado de todo, pero cuando le pones mute y lo ves de vuelta y sentís que no pasó nada, es porque lo controlaste o controlaste esa situación del partido. Me extenso, hoy tengo mucha ganas de hablar hoy. El equipo, mañana lo vas a saber.
Fernando Eurico, Antena 1.
Olá, Martim. Fernando Eurico, da Antena 1. Aprecio, sobretudo, essa fome de falar, porque gostamos de o escutar. Eu perguntava-lhe se, atendendo aos resultados da primeira jornada do grupo, se este jogo com o Inter de Miami ainda se torna mais importante, porque ganhando o Porto depende apenas do que fizer na última jornada para passar à próxima fase. É por isso jogo de veras importante o de amanhã?
Buenas noches. Y en un formato mundial donde hay 3 partidos, todos los partidos son importantes, porque si no obtenés un buen resultado en uno de los partidos, estás lejos de clasificar. Entonces, sin lugar a dudas, el partido de mañana se torna el más importante porque es el que viene, y a pesar de sacar un resultado positivo, el último partido también tenés que sacar un resultado positivo para avanzar. Así que nos gusta enfocarnos en el presente, que es el partido de mañana.
Duas para fechar, a bola, por favor.
Boa noite, Martim. Tomás Moreira para a bola. Queria perguntar-lhe se lhe tem surpreendido o grande equilíbrio entre as equipas da Europa e da América do Sul, como alguém que já esteve nas duas realidades.
Hola, buenas noches. Sí, puedo hablar de los equipos de América, o de América del Sur y de Europa, no así de los otros porque desconozco un poco, pero creo que los equipos sudamericanos son siempre competitivos. Y que tienen ese hambre y ese plus donde te van a competir hasta el final, no te van a dar nunca el partido por perdido ni ninguna acción, y que saben también, son equipos grandes, que saben jugar instancias finales, que tienen mucha historia detrás, que han ganado títulos importantes. Creo que al equipo europeo le está costando esto de de haber parado, ¿sí? Quizás el calendario en ese sentido es desfavorable y va a ser una segunda jornada muy interesante, ¿no? Porque vamos a empezar a ver esa realidad y a ver cómo se van desarrollando los partidos.
Para fechar aqui à frente.
Buenas noches, Martín. Fernando Petrocelli de Diario AS. Inter Miami ha sufrido muchos problemas con las transiciones de los rivales en esta temporada y tus equipos se han caracterizado por ser muy ofensivos, Independiente del Valle, Cruz Azul, lo mismo que has hecho con Porto. ¿Piensas por momentos resignar un poco la posesión el día de mañana para que Inter entre en esa trampa y poder apostar a la velocidad por afuera? ¿O dices, no, mira, mi estilo es tener la pelota y pese a que el rival sufra las transiciones, yo voy a morir con mi diario? Gracias.
Buenas noches. Bueno, lo decía anteriormente, nosotros queremos hacernos de la bola y al final encontramos o planificamos la forma de defender para cómo hacernos de la bola. Evidentemente, si defendés más cerca de tu campo, tenés más espacio para generar una transición, pero no por el hecho de querer generar una transición voy a defender cerca de mi arco si eso no me favorece a la hora de quitarle la pelota. En el caso de Palmeiras, elegimos ir 2 contra 3 en la primera línea y eso nos hacía menos presionantes y por ahí nos tocaba defender en algunas situaciones de un bloque medio bajo y hemos generado algunas transiciones a partir de ahí y en el partido de mañana tendremos nuestra estrategia para ver cómo le vamos a robar la pelota al rival o intentar robar para hacernos de la bola y tratar de generar peligro. No se puede controlar absolutamente todo el partido y en alguna situación seguramente alguna o 2 o 3 o las que fueran estaremos cerca de nuestro arco y cuando la robemos, si es que conseguimos robar, tener que aprovechar la transición. Al final las transiciones no son difíciles solo para el Inter, hoy las transiciones en el fútbol en espacio grande son difíciles para cualquier equipo.
É tudo. Muito obrigado. Até amanhã.
Chao, buenas noches.
Muchas gracias por tomar el tiempo de venir a contestar a la prensa. Gracias.
Ouvimos aqui a conferência de imprensa de Martina Selmi, dando visão ao encontro do Futebol Clube do Porto diante.
Questions. We'll start back with the Porto Canal, please.
Olá, Mister. Boa noite. Carolina Cardoso, em direito para o Porto Canal. Esta vai ser uma jornada certamente importante para as contas do grupo e por isso perguntar-lhe o que é que está à espera, quer do Futebol Clube do Porto, ou seja, que o Futebol Clube do Porto é que vai entrar em campo e também o que está à espera do Inter de Miami. E uma segunda pergunta mais a nível pessoal. O Futebol Clube do Porto vai enfrentar uma equipa que tem muitos argentinos. Do outro lado estará Javier Mascherano, também Lionel Messi, entre outros jogadores argentinos. Para o Mister, a nível pessoal, isso também acaba por trazer un sentimiento especial. Obrigada.
¿Qué tal? Buenas noches para todos. No, a ver, creo que vamos a enfrentar un equipo que le gusta intentar tener la pelota, que tiene jugadores de jerarquía dentro del campo de juego. Evidentemente son jugadores con una trayectoria impresionante, que si les dejas tener la pelota saben cómo generar peligro. Entonces me parece que por ahí un poco va a pasar el trámite del partido. Tenemos que intentar tratar de controlar el juego a través de la posesión, tratar de tener la pelota nosotros, tratar de recuperarla lo más rápido posible, tratar de ser intensos y agresivos a la hora de no tener el balón para poder pensar en el arco de enfrente y poder intentar buscar los 3 puntos. Con relación a lo otro, bueno, al final siempre pensé el día que me toque como entrenador preparar un partido contra Messi como uno lo iba a plantear. Creo que elegimos pensar en nosotros en ese sentido, elegimos estar juntos a la hora de recuperar, tratar de ser agresivos en la traspérdida, porque al final esos jugadores, como dije antes, cuanto menos tienen la pelota, menos daño te hacen. Evidentemente no podemos controlar todo, pero bueno, creo que tener la posibilidad de enfrentarlos al final como entrenador es un desafío más y creo que también es un motivo más de celebrar esta profesión.
Ok, TVI.
Olá, Mister. Olá, João Pedro Roca da TV da CNN. Queria lhe perguntar se acha que coletivamente, taticamente, a sua equipa é mais forte do que o Inter de Miami, está mais preparada, e que se nos explicasse essa questão de vocês idolatrarem o Messi, ou seja, todos os jogadores com quem falámos, o Neumann, o Alain, eles idolatram o Messi. Não sei se, como treinador, como argentino, también o idolatra de esa forma.
Sí, creo que eso de los equipos, buenas noches, eso de los equipos más fuertes, al final en el fútbol son 11 contra 11 y para ser más fuerte hay que demostrarlo dentro del campo de juego. Estamos viendo los resultados en este mundial de clubes donde en los papeles los equipos más fuertes no están logrando imponerse de una manera categórica, salvo algunas excepciones. Entonces, a partir de ahí, subestimar a cualquier tipo de rivales me parece que sería un error. Nosotros sabemos de nuestras fortalezas, sabemos del escudo que representamos, sabemos cuál es nuestra historia, qué es lo que queremos hacer dentro del campo de juego. Al final creo que después de un partido como el de Palmeiras, donde nos llevó a algunos ritmos que veníamos buscando luego de cerrar la temporada, de tener esas pequeñas vacaciones y de hacer esa preépoca con algunos juegos amistosos, es incomparable con el competir y con el tener un marco de partido real. Entonces, evidentemente, hemos recuperado a los jugadores en estos días, hemos trabajado poco el plan de partido dentro del campo, si lo hicimos con imágenes y en el entrenamiento de hoy un rato de manera colectiva y ya dentro del campo de juego. ¿Y cuál era la segunda pregunta?
Please, yeah.
Evidentemente.
Wait, we need for the translation, sorry. Wait, take the mic again, please. Thank you.
Perdón.
Translation.
¿Cómo es que explica esa...?
Sí, igual comprendí, tranquilo.
Sí, es que es para los otros dos.
Dale,
Sí, por favor.
Le preguntaba cómo se idolatra a Messi, cómo se explica eso.
Sí, bueno, para nosotros los argentinos, Lionel Messi nos ha dado muchas alegrías, pero en el momento de tener que enfrentarlo, para mí es un jugador del Inter de Miami al que tenemos que tratar de marcar bien, de que la pelota no pase por él, y creo que eso nos va a acercar a ganar. Intentamos, como dije antes, pensar en nosotros, que la estrategia defensiva no dependa de un solo jugador, sino que si estamos juntos y somos agresivos y sabemos presionar a los posibles pasadores que les puedan dar la pelota a Messi, capaz que por ahí pasa también un poco la clave de cortar ese circuito que él sabe encontrar entre líneas y generar peligro.
RTP, please. One question at a time, please, okay? It should be easier to the translation and to the answers, please. RTP.
Oh, gracias. Michelle Kaufman, Miami Herald. Quiero hablar en español también. Quería saber cómo tú conoces a Messi, tú conoces a Javier Mascherano, a Ustari, son de la misma edad que tú. ¿Cuál es la relación que tú tienes con ellos, que también tú lo conoces? Gracias.
Hola, buenas tardes. O buenas noches ya. No, a ver, tanto a Mascherano como a Ustari los conozco obviamente por la gran trayectoria que tuvieron Ustari sigue siendo futbolista y Mascherano como exfutbolista. No tengo la posibilidad de conocerlos personalmente. Como entrenador vengo siguiendo la carrera de Javier tanto en la selección argentina como ahora como entrenador de Inter de Miami. Creo que es un equipo que está evolucionando, que tiene buena forma de circular, de tener un buen control de balón, que si los deja jugar encuentran diferentes ventajas y le dan un sentido a la posesión. Y me parece que nuestro trabajo va a ser, como dije en la pregunta anterior, intentar cortar ese circuito de circulación para poder tener la pelota nosotros y ser protagonistas. Al final la esencia de Porto, lo que queremos ver dentro del campo de juego es ser protagonistas a través de la posesión, a través de pensar en el arco rival, a través de ser agresivos y cuanto más tengamos la pelota nosotros, más cerca vamos a estar del triunfo.
Agora sim, RTP.
Olá Martim, João Pedro Silva, RTP. Martim, sente que este Porto está mais próximo daquilo que pretende já, nesta fase da temporada, e se em relação a este grupo onde o Porto está inserido, se de facto o Porto e o Palmeiras são as equipas mais fortes e que podem ter mais facilidade, entre aspas, en llegar a la próxima fase.
Buenas noches. Bueno, hay un montón de facetas del juego que ya lo hemos hablado, ¿no? A lo largo de la época y a lo largo de la conferencia de prensa anterior, donde nos vamos acercando o vamos siendo el equipo que queremos ser. El otro día, no tengo la estadística exacta, pero creo que fueron 38 cruzamientos que hizo Palmeiras y nosotros supimos defenderlo. Y ahí hay un trabajo de línea muy, muy, muy fuerte y de mucho trabajo y de muchas horas que no empezó esta semana. Desde el primer día en enero que nosotros venimos trabajando la línea, cómo reducir los espacios, cómo desde dónde defender, cuándo hundirse. Evidentemente cada rival te propone algo distinto. Sabemos que Messi puede recortar y tirarle un centro a Alba cuando Alba se incorpora por detrás. Entonces hay diferentes formas de defender esa situación. Y sabíamos que Palmeiras centraba del lado de Piquerés, por ejemplo, y que centraba menos del lado derecho, que Estevao se jugaba el 1 contra 1. Entonces todas esas cosas se preparan y se ven en cada partido. Entonces eso de que el equipo se va acercando al equipo que queremos ser, cada partido el equipo tiene que ser de una forma distinta. Evidentemente tenemos una esencia a la hora de jugar, ¿no? Creo que fuimos competitivos, creo que a nivel defensivo va a haber momentos donde vamos a ser ultra presionantes y va a haber momentos como el partido del otro día donde entendíamos que no nos favorecía ser ultra presionantes porque Palmeiras es un equipo muy directo que junta dos pases y te pone a correr a la profundidad, ya sea del delantero, ya sea de Estevao, ya sea de Mauricio, ya sea de Facu Torres que no jugó, desde Piquerés, desde Anderson. Entonces no nos convenía saltar para dejar ese 1 contra 1 que podían aprovechar el espacio, por eso saltábamos de adentro y no desde afuera. Entonces todas esas cosas que yo te estoy contando ahora se ven en los partidos, pero las vemos nosotros. El 2 contra 1 entre Mora y Varela cuando Ríos y Aníbal Moreno no sabían a quién saltar al principio del juego, después ajustaron diferente y encontramos otro tipo de ventajas. Evidentemente nos costó tener buena circulación o más circulaciones buenas o terminar algunas circulaciones buenas, pero bueno, al final el fútbol es eso, ¿no? No solo se analiza a través del resultado final del marcador, sino la jugada se analiza a través del resultado. Porque la misma jugada que pudo terminar una situación en un gol para nosotros termina en una situación de gol para el rival y todos hablan de que llegó Palmeiras y no hablan de la construcción de esa jugada porque nos quedamos en el resultado, porque fue desfavorable la finalización de la acción. Entonces son esas cosas que al final contestar si el equipo se acerca o no se acerca a lo que queremos ser, nosotros sabemos lo que hacemos y sabemos cuáles son nuestros pequeños triunfos. Después está el resultado, que es ganar. Nosotros queremos ganar, evidentemente. Y a partir de ahí el ganar quizás resalta o subraya, como era en portugués, esto ya lo dije, porque no la palabra subrayar, bueno, destaca este tipo de situaciones que por ahí al no irte con el resultado a favor quedan en el aire. ¿Y lo otro qué era?
Ya está, ¿no? Ya está.
Una sola pregunta, gracias.
Martín, buenas noches, felicitaciones. Siguiendo el hilo conductor de cada una de estas respuestas, primero te pregunto cómo te definís vos, porque recién definías al equipo, cómo te definís vos como entrenador, sobre todo porque uno puede percibir por lo que has hecho en todos estos equipos y si tenés el equipo confirmado.
Hola, Marcelo, buenas noches. Sí, bueno, al final nos definimos, no yo como entrenador, sino nosotros como cuerpo técnico. Nos gusta planificar bien cada partido. Creo que le damos un sentido a nuestro equipo a través de lo que hace el rival. A partir de lo que hace el rival nos gusta entender diferentes formas de defender, modificando los cómo, pero nunca el qué, porque el qué es esa esencia. ¿Qué hacemos? Es casi siempre lo mismo. Cómo lo hacemos va cambiando según el rival. Entonces nos gusta a partir de ahí ser un equipo inteligente, como dije antes, que por momentos hay rivales donde no podemos dejarle dar ese primer pase como si le hemos dejado a Palmeiras para cerrar circuitos, y en otros partidos nos tocará ser muy agresivos en la presión para poder quitar en la primera línea, pero siempre nos gusta recuperar la pelota lo antes posible porque nos gusta tenerla. Y a partir de tenerla, me gusta el equipo que sabe interpretar lo que pide cada acción. Me gusta el jugador inteligente que va interpretando el juego otra vez en función de lo que hace el rival. porque nosotros sabemos cómo queremos atacar o de qué forma queremos atacar, pero cómo vamos a atacar en cada acción al final me lo va a decir el rival, porque según quién salte del rival es la ventaja que me está otorgando y a partir de ese salto vamos a encontrar diferentes ventajas. Puede haber una ventaja a través de un pase, puede haber una ventaja en el espacio, ¿sí? O a través de un hombre libre, y creo que en gran parte de esa evolución que me preguntaba tu colega es donde hacemos mucho énfasis, ¿no? Porque el jugador, cuando se vuelve un jugador inteligente que entiende el juego a través de las ventajas, empieza a fluir mejor el equipo. Creo que el otro día hemos encontrado bien la ventaja, pero desde el gesto técnico no la aprovechamos. Desde el gesto técnico, desde el campo, era un campo que no lo dije yo, lo dijo también el entrenador rival, estaba pesado, no estaba parejo, entonces el jugador está acostumbrado, nuestros jugadores están acostumbrados a jugar en campos más rápidos y eso inconscientemente te genera una duda a la hora de la ejecución, pero nos gusta ser protagonistas, nos gusta pensar en el arco rival y nos gusta controlar los partidos. Hay veces que se puede controlar a través de la pelota, hay veces que se puede controlar a través de quitar rápido y ser verticales, y hay veces como el otro día que nos tocó controlar los últimos 15 minutos desde defendernos, porque entendíamos que nos íbamos quedando sin piernas y al final cuando estás en el campo de juego con la hinchada de rival que te empuja y parece, pero después le pones mute al partido y no pasó nada. Entonces todo el contexto hace que haya pasado de todo, pero cuando le pones mute y lo ves de vuelta y sentís que no pasó nada, es porque lo controlaste o controlaste esa situación del partido. Me extenso, estoy muy hoy tengo mucha ganas de hablar hoy. El equipo, mañana lo vas a saber.
Fernando Eurico, Antena 1.
Olá Martim, Fernando Eurico da Antena 1. Aprecio sobretudo essa fome de falar, porque gostamos de o escutar. Eu perguntava-lhe se, atendendo aos resultados da primeira jornada do grupo, se este jogo com o Inter de Miami ainda se torna mais importante, porque ganhando o Porto depende apenas do que fizer na última jornada para passar à próxima fase. É por isso um jogo de veras importante o de amanhã?
Buenas noches. Y en un formato mundial donde hay 3 partidos, todos los partidos son importantes, porque si no obtenés un buen resultado en uno de los partidos, estás lejos de clasificar. Entonces, sin lugar a duda, el partido de mañana se torna el más importante porque es el que viene. Y a pesar de sacar un resultado positivo, el último partido también tenés que sacar un resultado positivo para avanzar. Así que nos gusta enfocarnos en el presente, que es el partido de mañana.
Duas para fechar, a bola, por favor.
Boa noite, Martim. Tomás Moreira para a bola. Queria perguntar-lhe se lhe tem surpreendido o grande equilíbrio entre as equipas da Europa e da América do Sul, como alguém que já esteve nas duas realidades.
Hola, buenas noches. Sí, puedo hablar de los equipos de América o de América del Sur y de Europa, no así de los otros porque desconozco un poco, pero creo que los equipos sudamericanos son siempre competitivos. Y que tienen ese hambre y ese plus donde te van a competir hasta el final, no te van a dar nunca el partido por perdido ni ninguna acción, y que saben también, son equipos grandes, que saben jugar instancias finales, que tienen mucha historia detrás, que han ganado títulos importantes. Creo que al equipo europeo le está costando esto de haber parado, ¿sí? Quizás el calendario en ese sentido es desfavorable. Y va a ser una segunda jornada muy interesante, ¿no? Porque vamos a empezar a ver esa realidad y a ver cómo se van desarrollando los partidos.
Para fechar aquí a frente.
Buenas noches, Martín. Fernando Petrocelli de Diario AS. Inter Miami ha sufrido muchos problemas con las transiciones de los rivales en esta temporada, y tus equipos se han caracterizado por ser muy ofensivos, Independiente del Valle, Cruz Azul, lo mismo que has hecho con Porto. ¿Piensas por momentos resignar un poco la posesión el día de mañana para que Inter entre en esa trampa y poder apostar a la velocidad por afuera? ¿O dices, no, mira, mi estilo es tener la pelota y pese a que el rival sufra las transiciones, yo voy a morir con mi diario? Gracias.
Buenas noches. Bueno, lo decía anteriormente, nosotros queremos hacernos de la bola y al final encontramos o planificamos la forma de defender para cómo hacernos de la bola. Evidentemente, si defendés más cerca de tu campo, tenés más espacio para generar una transición, pero no por el hecho de querer generar una transición voy a defender cerca de mi arco si eso no me favorece a la hora de quitarles la pelota. En el caso de Palmeiras, elegimos ir 2 contra 3 en la primera línea y eso nos hacía menos presionantes y por ahí nos tocaba defender en algunas situaciones de un bloque medio bajo y hemos generado algunas transiciones a partir de ahí y en el partido de mañana tendremos nuestra estrategia para ver cómo le vamos a robar la pelota al rival o intentar robar para hacernos de la bola y tratar de generar peligro. No se puede controlar absolutamente todo el partido y en alguna situación seguramente alguna o 2 o 3 o las que fueran estaremos cerca de nuestro arco y cuando la robemos, si es que conseguimos robar, tener que aprovechar la transición. Al final las transiciones no son difíciles solo para el Inter, hoy las transiciones en el fútbol en espacio grande son difíciles para cualquier equipo.
Es todo. Muito obrigado. Até amanhã.
Chao, buenas noches.
Muchas gracias por tomar el tiempo de venir a contestar a la prensa. Gracias.
Ouvimos aqui a conferência de imprensa de Martina Selmi, dando divisão ao encontro do Futebol Clube Porto diante.
Questions. We'll start back with the Porto Canal, please.
Olá, Mister. Boa noite. Carolina Cardoso, em direito para o Porto Canal. Esta vai ser uma jornada certamente importante para as contas do grupo e por isso perguntar-lhe o que é que está à espera, quer do Futebol Clube do Porto, ou seja, que o Futebol Clube do Porto é que vai entrar em campo e também o que está à espera do Inter de Miami. E uma segunda pergunta mais a nível pessoal. O Futebol Clube do Porto vai enfrentar uma equipa que tem muitos argentinos. Do outro lado estará
Javier Mascherano, também Lionel Messi, entre outros jogadores argentinos. Para o Mister, a nível pessoal, isso também acaba por trazer un sentimiento especial. Obrigada.
¿Qué tal? Buenas noches para todos. A ver, creo que vamos a enfrentar un equipo que le gusta intentar tener la pelota, que tiene jugadores de jerarquía dentro del campo de juego. Evidentemente son jugadores con una trayectoria impresionante, que si les dejas tener la pelota saben cómo generar peligro. Entonces me parece que por ahí un poco va a pasar el trámite del partido. Tenemos que intentar tratar de controlar el juego a través de la posesión, tratar de tener la pelota nosotros, tratar de recuperarla lo más rápido posible, tratar de ser intensos y agresivos a la hora de no tener el balón para poder pensar en el arco de enfrente y poder intentar buscar los 3 puntos. Con relación a lo otro, bueno, al final siempre pensé el día que me toque como entrenador preparar un partido contra Messi como uno lo iba a plantear. Creo que elegimos pensar en nosotros en ese sentido, elegimos estar juntos a la hora de recuperar, tratar de ser agresivos en la traspérdida, porque al final esos jugadores, como dije antes, cuanto menos tienen la pelota, menos daño te hacen. Evidentemente no podemos controlar todo, pero bueno, creo que tener la posibilidad de enfrentarlos al final como entrenador es un desafío más, y creo que también es un motivo más de celebrar esta profesión.
Ok, TVI. Olá, Mister. Olá, sou Pedro Roca da TVI da CNN. Queria perguntar se acha que coletivamente, taticamente,
A sua equipa é mais forte do que o Inter de Miami, está mais preparada, e que se nos explicasse essa questão de vocês idolatrarem o Messi, ou seja, todos os jogadores com quem falámos, o Neumann, o Alain, eles idolatram o Messi. Não sei se, como treinador, como argentino, também o idolatra dessa forma.
Sí, creo que eso de los equipos, buenas noches, son los equipos más fuertes. Al final en el fútbol son 11 contra 11 y para ser más fuerte hay que demostrarlo dentro del campo de juego. Estamos viendo los resultados en este Mundial de Clubes donde en los papeles los equipos más fuertes no están logrando imponerse de una manera categórica, salvo algunas excepciones. Entonces, a partir de ahí, subestimar a cualquier tipo de rivales me parece que sería un error. Nosotros sabemos nuestras fortalezas, sabemos del escudo que representamos, sabemos cuál es nuestra historia,
es lo que queremos hacer dentro del campo de juego. Al final creo que después de un partido como el de Palmeiras, donde nos llevó a algunos ritmos que veníamos buscando luego de cerrar la temporada, de tener esas pequeñas vacaciones y de hacer esa preépoca con algunos juegos amistosos, es incomparable con el competir y con el tener un marco de partido real. Entonces, evidentemente, hemos recuperado a los jugadores en estos días, hemos trabajado poco el plan de partido
dentro del campo, si lo hicimos con imágenes y en el entrenamiento de hoy un rato de manera colectiva y ya dentro del campo de juego. ¿Y cuál era la segunda pregunta?
Please, yeah.
Evidentemente.
Wait, we need further translation, sorry. Wait, take the mic again, please. Thank you.
Perdón.
Translation.
¿Cómo explica esa...?
Igual comprendí, tranquilo.
Sí, es que es para los otros dos.
Dale,
Sí, por favor.
Le preguntaba cómo se idolatra a Messi, cómo se explica eso.
Sí, bueno, para nosotros los argentinos, Lionel Messi nos ha dado muchas alegrías, pero en el momento de tener que enfrentarlo, para mí es un jugador del Inter de Miami al que tenemos que tratar de marcar bien, de que la pelota no pase por él, y creo que eso nos va a acercar a ganar. Intentamos, como dije antes, pensar en nosotros, que la estrategia defensiva no dependa de un solo jugador, sino que si estamos juntos y somos agresivos y sabemos presionar a los posibles pasadores que les puedan dar la pelota a Messi, capaz que por ahí pasa también un poco la clave de cortar ese circuito que él sabe encontrar entre líneas y generar peligro.
RTP, please. One question at a time, please, okay? It should be easier to the translation and to the answers, please. RTP.
Oh, gracias. Michelle Kaufman, Miami Herald. Quiero hablar en español también. Quería saber cómo tú conoces a Messi, tú conoces a Javier Mascherano, a Ustari, son de la misma edad que tú. ¿Cuál es la relación que tú tienes con ellos, que también tú lo conoces? Gracias.
Hola, buenas tardes. O buenas noches ya. No, a ver, tanto a Mascherano como a Ustari los conozco obviamente por la gran trayectoria que tuvieron Ustari sigue siendo futbolista y Mascherano como exfutbolista. No tengo la posibilidad de conocerlos personalmente. Como entrenador vengo siguiendo la carrera de Javier tanto en la selección argentina como ahora como entrenador de Inter de Miami. Creo que es un equipo que está evolucionando, que tiene buena forma de circular, de tener un buen control del balón, que si los deja jugar encuentran diferentes ventajas y le dan un sentido a la posesión. Y me parece que nuestro trabajo va a ser, como dije en la pregunta anterior, intentar cortar ese circuito de circulación para poder tener la pelota nosotros y ser protagonistas. Al final la esencia de Porto, lo que queremos ver dentro del campo de juego es ser protagonistas a través de la posesión, a través de pensar en el arco rival, a través de ser agresivos y cuanto más tengamos la pelota nosotros, más cerca vamos a estar del triunfo.
Agora sim, RTP.
Olá Martim, João Pedro Silva, RTP. Martim, sente que este Porto está mais próximo daquilo que pretende já, nesta fase da temporada, e se em relação a este grupo onde o Porto está inserido, se de facto o Porto e o Palmeiras são as equipas mais fortes e que podem ter mais facilidade, entre aspas, em chegar à próxima fase?
Buenas noches. Bueno, hay un montón de facetas del juego que ya lo hemos hablado, ¿no? A lo largo de la época y a lo largo de la conferencia de prensa anterior, donde nos vamos acercando o vamos siendo el equipo que queremos ser. El otro día, no tengo la estadística exacta, pero creo que fueron 38 cruzamientos que hizo Palmeiras y nosotros supimos defenderlo. Y ahí hay un trabajo de línea muy, muy, muy fuerte y de mucho trabajo y de muchas horas que no empezó esta semana. Desde el primer día en enero que nosotros venimos trabajando la línea, cómo reducir los espacios, cómo desde dónde defender, cuándo hundirse.
evidentemente cada rival te propone algo distinto. Sabemos que Messi puede recortar y tirarle un centro a Alba cuando Alba se incorpora por detrás, entonces hay diferentes formas de defender esa situación. Y sabíamos que Palmeiras centraba del lado de Piquerés, por ejemplo, y que centraba menos del lado derecho, que Estevao se jugaba el 1 contra 1. Entonces todas esas cosas se preparan y se ven.
Every game is free on DAZN.com/flashscore. That's DAZN.com/flashscore.
It is more interesting to follow the game with OneXBet. Sign up with the promo code FlashScore and get an increased bonus up to 189,280 naira.
Seemingly ahead of him in the pecking order. At the beginning of last season, he made the leap. There's plenty of clubs in Europe chasing his signature, but he came to the north of Portugal with Porto. And it didn't quite go as planned. The Dragons finishing third, a distant third too, in the league, behind the two Lisbon Giants, the champions Sporting, and then Benfica are 2 points behind them. Here's Kremaski now for Inter Miami to Messi. Here we are, the man that the crowd's here to see. Oh, he plays a lovely ball over the top for Suarez, who slides with the front post. It's saved, and then Suarez pokes it into the side netting with the rebound. That was a lovely little dink over the top from Lionel Messi to pick out his strike partner, Luis Suarez, who was thwarted at the near post by Claudio Ramos. He may well have been offside there anyway. I think Suarez just leaning beyond the last defender, sliding for it and poked the initial effort, saved by the feet of Ramos, and then Suarez took a stab at the rebound as well, but when he poked it into the side. Now, as I said, I think that one would have been ruled out for offside anyway, but there's a little early warning sign for Martin Anselmi's side that Lionel Messi means business here this evening. There is Claudio Ramos, all in grey, the Porto goalkeeper. Rolls it to his captain, Ivan Marcano. It says Spanish, but has been at Porto since 2014. Great servant to the Dragons. And now down the right-hand side goes João Mario, but finds a space, run out slightly on halfway on the left-hand side. And both Segovia and Allen picked up a ball there, ready to take a throw in each, but in the end, Allen will take it. Now here's Busquets to Messi on halfway. As Weigand to his right, ahead of him Kremaski uses Weigand just in front of the Porto dugout, midway inside the Porto half. Kremaski, nice ball in behind for Weigand, it's going to be too long though, and that'll be a goal kick to Porto. So the early probings here coming via the MLS side. Javier Mascherano gives a thumbs up, being suave in his black t-shirt and his very casual look, but he's very suave as always. Javier Mascherano, what a wonderful player he was, that played alongside Lionel Messi and others. His time on Suarez, his time at Barcelona, and also of course with Messi in the Argentina national side. And even though we're in Atlanta, we're in the stadium of one of Inter Miami's Major League Soccer rivals here. And there are plenty of Inter Miami and Argentina jerseys with the number 10 on the back. Anywhere they go, people will turn up for this man. Messi plays a nice one behind for Suarez, and out coming for it was Claudio Ramos, diving bravely at the feet of the Uruguayan to take that one, and he pulls that one out over arm there to Francisco Moura, who will go over halfway for Porto, and not much by way of support ahead of him. And I think they just want to keep the ball here, though Fabio Vieira has spotted a lovely pass there onto the right hand side for João Mario, right corner of the penalty area. Ooh, was he fouled there? No penalty, says Christian Harai. Will VAR take a look at that one just as João Mario was trying to cut inside? Did he have the feet taken out from underneath him there? Here come Inter Miami on the break anyway. They're not stopping to think about it. It's Allen, the man who may well have conceded that foul. Messi now. Young Rodrigo Mora closes him down. Messi gets it back again midway inside the Porto half, and no sign of our Chilean officials stopping to have a look at anything here. Mora will come away with it for Porto. The Porto bench are incensed there. Just as João Mario is cutting inside, and Noah Allen take the feet out from underneath him, right on the corner of the penalty area. And Martin Anselmi is furious in the touchline, speaking with the fourth official down there. Porto were convinced they were denied a stonewall penalty there. I haven't yet to see a replay, now we'll get one, and I would be inclined to agree with him. Noah Allen just dangled a leg out there, and João Mario caught his shin on the way past, and now Christian Harai is going to have a look at the VAR monitor. That took a while, but our Chilean official will now go look at the pitchside monitor. He's obviously got word in his ear that there is reason to doubt his on-field decision. There's contact there, and it's right on the right corner of the penalty area. I think it's just inside this 18-yard box. João Mario cutting inside, and just the studs of Noah Allen catch at the top of his foot, and the referee has made a decision already. Here he comes back out pitch side. We shall see. I don't believe that he has given it. He has given the penalty. He was explaining his decision there and left us hanging right to the end. And it is a penalty for FC Porto early in this game. With their first real attack, it's a clumsy dangling leg from Noah Allen that catches Joao Mario. Javier Mascherano is now the manager on the sideline having a word with our fourth official, who did help him early on. He's getting it in both ears, but Noah Allen with a risky dangling foot out there that caught Joao Mario, and Porto have a chance for an early lead here from the spot. Ian Frey over to speak to the Greece youth international Noah Allen, American born, but made his debut for the Greece under-21 side in March. They have family connection to Greece, but now Inter Miami are still contesting a decision, and the ball has been handed to the 18-year-old Rodrigo Mora to take this one. Is he just going to be a placeholder, as you see so often in football now, to maybe try and psych out Oscar Rustari and Inter Miami for the actual penalty taker and relieve a bit of stress from them? And indeed it is, as he hands it over to Samu Agahoa, who took 4 penalties for Porto in the regular season, the domestic season, scored all 4, and now he takes a big inhale and exhale up against the experienced Argentinian goalkeeper Oscar Rustari, who just gets his final instructions from Christian Harai. But it's Samu Agahoa stepping up to the penalty spot here for Porto for a lead here on 8 minutes. Referee blows his whistle. Samu, hands on hips. Up he strides. Bit of a stutter into the bottom corner via Ustari's hands. It was a low, hard, powerful penalty from Samu, and it had to be, because Oscar Ustari went the right way and got a big chunk on it, but the ball nestles in the corner, and Porto take the lead here on 8 minutes in Atlanta. Samu Agahoa from the penalty spot after Noah Allen, the judge, to have taken the legs out from underneath Joao Mario in the right corner of the penalty area. VAR check confirmed it. And Ustari might want that one back. It's low, it's hard, it's not right in the corner, but there's enough power on it that Ustari, even though he got a hand on it, couldn't prevent it from going in. And Porto have the lead here in Atlanta. Can they build on that? They were under a bit of pressure early. Lionel Messi creating for them. Samu scored 25 goals in his first season in Portugal, as his and Porto's first here at this Club World Cup. What do Inter Miami have in response here? They cannot be shell-shocked and just retreat back in their shell after this one. Falcon goes back to Ustari and he gets it back from his goalkeeper. Now Busquets, back to Falcon. And back to Ustari, all in yellow. Being pressured there by Agahoa. And now it's Frey holding off the challenge of Mora in the corner, and eventually Ian Frey plays out nicely. Lovely one-touch football there from the Floridians. Kremaski plays on forward looking for Suarez, but well read in the end there by Jose Pedro. And now Porto will come in the attack, and Moro was fouled there by Frey, and that's a free kick then to the Dragons just inside the Inter Miami half on the left-hand side. Ian Frey, the man adjudged to have committed the foul. So Javier Mascherano, he will like what he's seen out of the gates from his side, but things have taken a turn for the worse here, and Javier Mascherano is really getting animated with Christian Harai, our referee. Over what? I'm not sure. Now Lionel Messi comes over to try to calm his manager and former teammate down. Christian Harai just gives him the universal symbol for calm down, the 2 hands sort of pressing to the ground, and nothing gets somebody agitated to calm down more than telling them to calm down, right? I'm sure that'll work for particularly somebody as passionate as Javier Mascherano. There's a ball now down the right hand side that Gabri Vega gets to the byline. Gabri Vega, did he overrun that one? Not sure if he did, but in his hurry to get the ball in, he only found Kremaski, and in the end The linesman does give a late flag, and the young Spaniard brought in from ahly just before this tournament, a big blockbuster deal for Porto. It was a real coup to get him. Gabri Vega spent 2 years in Saudi Arabia, having burst through at Celta Vigo. Oh, and it's a terrible back pass that Ustari gets there before Mora. Goodness me, that was Segovia giving his goalkeeper kittens there, but Ustari reacted quicker than Rodrigo Mora and clears it away. As I was saying there with Gabri Vega, he really burst onto the scene with Celta Vigo a couple of years ago, but he at that time chose to go down the Saudi Arabian route. But after 2 years with ahly, he has come back to Europe, and it's to the Portuguese giants he goes. Here's Jose Pedro, who runs into Weigand, and the Boca Juniors loanee Weigand has a few words to say to Jose Pedro as he lies on the turf. So certainly no love lost here between these two sides. There's no history between them, as I mentioned. They've never faced each other before in a competitive sense, not even in a friendly either, but certainly the tensions are heating up here. Jose Pedro now tries to get in behind, but Frey covers and guides it nicely back to Ustari, who clears down the right hand side, but a heavy touch in the end from Allende. First time we've really seen him this afternoon. He's on loan from Celta Vigo, that club that Gabri Vega broke through the ranks up. Here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Monday evening they hosted Chelsea against another MLS side in LAFC, and much maligned for the empty seats. And while we certainly don't have a full house, there are a lot more people in the building this evening. As I mentioned, most of them wearing pink and black, or else blue and white, but not the Porto blue and white, Argentinian blue and white. But there is a strong contingent of Porto supporters here, and they made themselves known. Samu Agahoa gave them a lead with a penalty. They now have a throw in on the left hand side, around 20 yards from the byline. Jose Pedro will take it. Forgive me at times that sometimes reading the numbers on the back of these Porto shirts are difficult with the gold, shiny gold numbers, and well, Weigand and Agahoa have collided here. The Inter Miami right back has been left writhing on the turf, holding the small of his back. And in fairness, if Samu Agahoa, well, no need for that. It certainly wasn't just a coming together. Agahoa, I wouldn't quite call it an elbow, but he certainly lunged his body into Weigand. And I need to be careful just not to lose the head there, Agahoa. And he's going to stay well away from Weigand again. Jose Pedro ready to take the throw. Vieira making the run ahead of him, but he goes to Mora. Back again to Pedro, and now Vieira on the touchline. Nice playing close quarters there from Porto, but good defending from Weigand just to shield that ball from Jose Pedro and get it out for a goal kick. And well, that one there from Samu Agahoa, you'll need to be very careful, because he wasn't quite an elbow, but he moved aggressively towards Weigand and so leaned a forearm into his back. Here's Messi now on the ball. Busquets and Segovia, and Allen on the halfway line on the left flank. As I said, American born but now a Greek under 21 international. We made his debut in March. Here's Falcone. Segovia. And a crossfield ball from Allende to Weigand on the right hand side. Weigand to Messi, he drops deep. Messi digs out a pass. Over the top goes Kremaski, right corner of the penalty area. There's a Porto player down the middle. A play on. Kremaski to the byline, digs it across. It's deep. And I think that one actually swung out of play for a goal kick. It was far too long anyway, so Kremaski, a good run in behind there, but ultimately his final ball letting him down. And we've played a quarter of an hour here now in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You're listening to live FIFA Club World Cup action between Inter Miami and FC Porto, and it's the Portuguese side who lead. Samu Agahoa's penalty after Noah Allen tipped Joao Mario. Christian Harai, our referee, had his decision confirmed by VAR. So that's where we're at. And as I mentioned, we're
under no threat of a weather delay, which has some inclement weather across the states have interrupted games last night in Cincinnati. Pachuca and Salzburg had a 90-minute delay, and then earlier today the start of the other game in this group in New Jersey between Palmeiras and Ahly was also delayed, but the roof is on here, the artificial turf, so they will be playing to finish. No delays for the weather anyway. Suarez gets away from Varela. He then brings the Uruguayan to ground just on the halfway line. And it's a free kick to the Floridians. Suarez has been criticised of late maybe for his fitness, and earlier on you could see maybe just a little bit of yard of pace and explosiveness he once had. Maybe isn't quite there, but I mean, you know, that's what happens when you get into your late 30s. He still has that instinct. He's still a top quality striker. One that the Porto defence need not underestimate. Inter Miami have already won this stadium this season. They defeated Atlanta United here 2-1 back in March. Messi was on the score sheet that day, but it was a late winner from the man on the bench today, Fafa Pico, the Haitian international, scoring in the 89th minute to win that one. Although they don't have great memories of here after winning the Supporters' Shield for the best regular season record, which Gianni Infantino came to present them with, and then present them with their place at this Club World Cup. They were left red-faced when Atlanta United knocked them out in the first round of the playoffs. Bit of controversy in the States that LA Galaxy, who ended up winning the MLS Cup, winning the playoffs, were not invited to this competition. Their crosstown rivals LAFC qualifying at the last minute after Club Leon were forced to drop out with the dual ownership rule, and LAFC and Club America, who were the two highest ranked sides in CONCACAF, not to be in the competition. They played a play-in game at the end of last month, which the Californians won, hence why they were here on Monday against Chelsea. But Inter Miami are here now, and they're 1-0 down to Porto, and coming down the right-hand side, well, was coming down the right-hand side, is Joao Mario. He chooses to slow things down and finds Vega. And now here's Martin Fernandez. He's 19 years old, the centre half, to his much more experienced defensive partner Ivan Marcano. That's a dreadful pass from Marcano. Gives it away, and it's Messi running at the Porto defence. That's not what you want. Oh, Messi in behind for Suarez. Suarez is in a goal here. Another good save by Ramos, and he gets the rebound before Suarez. And Claudio Ramos, as he did against Palmeiras in game 1, is having another excellent evening between the sticks here. Not for the first time this opening 19 minutes. He denies Luis Suarez. Quick off his line. Also off his line is Oscar Ustari, who's come miles out of the goal. Falcone holds off Agahoa, but Mora now is chasing that one into the corner with Frey. But in the end, the referee is going to come back here. I don't know if it was for a foul or an offside. I didn't quite catch that. That was... Initially, we were looking at the ball. It's a lovely time pass from Messi to Suarez. He's onside. And Suarez just tries a little dink back over Ramos, but the Porto goalkeeper makes himself big, makes a save with the body, and is first to react to the rebound. Suarez going for the left-footed dink over the top, still waiting to look back to see what happened at the other end. But in the meantime, Inter Miami have a throw-in on the right-hand side, which is thrown into Suarez, but he gives it back to Messi, who uncharacteristically gives it away. Now here's Mora for Porto on the left-hand side on halfway. Jose Pedro getting forward, but he clashes with Benjamin Kremaski. And even though the Porto man ends up on the ground, it's going to be a throw-in to Martin Anselmi's side, as Javier Mascherano giving some instructions there to Tadeo Allende, the winger on loan from Lanús in the Argentinian Premier League. Here's Marcano to Varela, and now Fernandez at the back for Porto. 20 minutes gone here in Atlanta. It's Inter Miami 0, FC Porto 1. And Mark Strange live for you here. FIFA Club World Cup on Flash Score UK. We'll have select commentary games throughout the tournament, and we'll also be keeping you abreast with previews, match reports, live in-game stats, everything you could need to take in every single game of this Club World Cup. As Agahoa now gets in behind, left corner of the penalty area, Frey goes with him. Agahoa not much support there, so he holds off the challenge of Frey, and then his pass in the end goes all the way back to the halfway line. picked up by Jose Pedro. And now here's Fabio Vieira, who, as I said, spent last season on loan at Porto from Arsenal. He's granted permission to play in the tournament before heading back to North London, or well, certainly before his loan ends, where he'll end up playing his football next season. Who knows? Mora with a heavy touch there as he tried to pick out João Mario on that right hand side. Couldn't do so. So up next after us, we've got back-to-back commentaries. 11 PM Israel UK time, Seattle Sounders versus Atletico Madrid, and then overnight, a real mouth-watering tie, the Champions League winners PSG against Botafogo, the Copa Libertadores winners. They're falling behind for Weigand, but again Ramos dives at his feet to get there first. What a clash that one's going to be. 2 AM UK time, the champions of Europe versus the champions of South America. And then tomorrow evening we'll have 2 games for you. The UK friendly time of 7 o'clock. It's another Brazilian side in action. Flamengo is taking on Chelsea. And then overnight on Friday into Saturday morning, it's 2 giants of European and South American football again as Bayern Munich take on Boca Juniors. As I said, we have plenty of live action for you here on Flash Score UK throughout the tournament. I said select games plus all of your previews, reports, stats, in-game, pre-game, post-game, you name it. Your one-stop shop for Club World Cup action. We're partnering with DAZN, of course, providing all the stats for DAZN as well, who are the official TV broadcaster of the tournament. So we're delighted to play a part in that as Frey goes back to Ustari on the edge of the 6-yard box. We have 23 minutes gone here in Atlanta, where FC Porto still lead thanks to Samu Agahoa's 8th minute penalty. The Noah Allen clipped João Mario and Christian Harai had it confirmed by VAR, and now Harai has given a free kick against Allende for a foul there on Marcano. So a free kick out to, I think you call them the visitors. I know this is technically an away stadium for Inter Miami and MLS, but just a 1,000 kilometer drive from Miami to Atlanta. It's the state to the north of Florida, of course. And now Busquets and Suarez are giving Christian Harai some of their thoughts there. Tadeo Allende barging into Ivan Marcano as he was trying to go for that header. And then a free kick will be taken here by Martin Fernandez. And Jose Pedro on the left flank on halfway finds Rodrigo Mora ahead of him. Mora is, I thought it looked like he was pushed to the ground by Frey, but in the end the ball makes its way to Vieira, and now Fernandez on halfway anyway for Porto. So play on, says the referee. In the right flank there's João Mario, and Fernandez was trying to overlap him but couldn't do it, so that's a throw in to Inter Miami. 25 minutes gone here. 1-0 to the Portuguese side. Allen with ball in hand. Midway inside his own half, throws into Segovia, who, well, tries to spin that one out to Messi, but it's a lovely flick on from Mora after it was given away to Jose Pedro. Now here he is in the left corner of the penalty area. Good football from Porto, but Weigand steps in on Mora, but Segovia gives it away, and now Agahoa's on in here. Agahoa tries to go through the legs of Frey, can't do so, and in the end Ustari prevents the corner kick. So good defending there from Ian Frey against the substantial threat that is Samu Agahoa. And now there's a throw in to, well, I think it's going to go the way of Porto here in the end, is it? It is indeed. Lionel Messi had ball in hand right in front of his own dugout there, ready to take that one, but it's turned over. And now Varela to João Mario. There's Fernandez back to Varela. Vieira. 1-2 with Varela, just midway inside the Inter Miami half, finds Jose Pedro. And lots of room out there on the left flank. Vieira's pass is blocked by Allende, but I'll come back to Jose Pedro. Now Mora, oh lovely little flick from Mora. So Jose Pedro gets the ball in, it's a good one, nobody there. Allen can control it at the back post and come away down the left flank for Inter Miami. Nobody in blue and white committing to that ball. Lovely build up by Rodrigo Mora and Jose Pedro. But nobody in blue and white stripes could get on to it. Now here's Messi on halfway. Dummies a pass with his left foot, and instead we'll play one down the line for Kremaski. Well read though by Marcano, who slides it into touch, but that's a throw in to the men in pink on the right hand side line of the edge 18-yard box, which Kremaski takes and gives to Messi. Now Weigand, midway inside the Porto half, goes back to Busquets. Segovia, back to Busquets, who really we haven't seen too much of in this game. He usually makes this Inter Miami side tick. Messi on the right corner of the penalty area, flicks it in, and well read there by Claudio Ramos. And away he comes with that one. And that's Rodrigo Mora. And comes away with the ball for Porto. 1-2 with Fabio Vieira. And then rolls that one back to Fernandez. Martin Fernandez. He plays one, arrows one down the left for Jose Pedro. He's getting forward here at will, but his knockdown looking for Mora is intercepted by Weigand. And now it's a free kick to Inter Miami. Messi fouled there. And here's Segovia to Frey on halfway. Weigand. Segovia down the line for Allende, but he takes a heavy touch, and Marcano goes back to Ramos, who rather awkwardly with the outside of his right boot flicks that one away, doesn't go very far, and Weigand heads it back, but Marcano down to Varela, and now Vieira. Oh, lovely skill from Vieira. Takes away from 3 pink shirts. He has Mora and Agaho ahead of him, and he doesn't find either of them, and he yells out in frustration as Frey can intercept. It was too long for Mora and not long enough for Agahoa, and Frey gets in there on it. Kremaski comes away now for Inter Miami. Now Segovia, the Venezuelan international. Segovia over the top looking for Messi. Good header down by Marcano. Vieira wins it back. Nice 1-2 with Vega. And now Vieira will just slow things down. We're approaching the half-hour mark here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Inter Miami 0, FC Porto 1 here on. This is round 2 now of the group stage games. We're in Group A. Currently Palmeiras lead the way, having defeated ahly 2-0 in the early game at MetLife Stadium. Here's Marcano to Francisco Moura down the left hand side. Dummies. We've got Moura and Mora on that left hand side now for Porto. I'll make sure I get my pronunciations right so you know who I'm talking about. Here's Moura. Back to Marcano on halfway. Mora this time, who tries to go past Frey and does so and is fouled by Ian Frey, or not, perhaps, as the case may be. I thought I looked at a surefire foul there, and so did Rodrigo Mora, and he just knocked that ball past Ian Frey, and the Inter Miami centre half just stood in his way, but our Chilean referee was okay with the challenge, so play on we go. We've had half an hour played now here, 1-0 still to Porto. Here's Ustari, who got a hand to Samu Agahoa's penalty early on, but just couldn't keep it out. Now here's Frey. Chips it over the head of Mora to Weigand, just in front of his own dugout, midway inside his own half. Good challenge there by Varela. And now it's with Gabri Vega and Agahoa to Mora, left corner of the penalty area. Rodrigo Mora. Inter Miami looking for an offside. No flag yet, but we know how they can be delayed. Mora faced up by Weigand. Lovely back heel to Moura. Gets it in. Frey awkwardly gets in the way, and his clearance in the end deflects off a blue and white shirt, but it'll spin and stay in play, forcing Weigand to clear it, which he does. Allende now to Messi, and that might all of a sudden get Inter Miami on the counter-attack. Busquets, midway inside his own half, leaves it for Messi and says, go on you ahead, and he tries to find Allende with a pass, but it's Fabio Vieira. In some good tracking back, he gets there and just steers it back to his goalkeeper, Claudio Ramos. And Varela. Back to Martin Fernandez, who's fouled there by Velasco Segovia on the right hand side, just outside his own penalty area. So that's a free kick to Porto. Goes back to Ramos and now Marcano, the captain. And now here's Moura coming down the left hand side with Mora ahead of him. Moura doubles back as Allende nearly takes the ball off him, so he'll roll it back to Vieira. And he clips one left footer out to João Mario on the right hand side. Overlapping is Martin Fernandez, and he gets to it. Fernandez now delivers a good ball in, looking for Samu, and it's just behind him. And now it's going to come for Moura. Samu has stayed down, he needs to get back in it, shot, and he hits Samu on the ground. That's why he had to get back up, and he's offside, and that will maybe teach him a lesson. He went to ground looking at a penalty and stayed on the ground, but his team played on as the shot came in towards goal. He was still lying prone on the ground, and the ball in the end, I think it might actually have struck his hand while he's lying on the ground. Samu Agahoa, that's poor. Whether you agree with the referee's decision or not, you got to get up and get back into play. Play to the whistle, one of the earliest things you're taught playing football or any sport for that matter. But Samu Agahoa did not oblige that rule this time, and well, his side ended up punished as a result of it. It was Starry, clips the free kick out on the right for Weigand. Now Messi, who assesses his options. Still, even at his age now, still so much time on the ball. That's a poor one, as intercepted by Alan Varela. And now Mora will come forward for Porto, approaching the penalty area. He's outnumbered here, Mora, in the end. Between Segovia and Frey, they win it back, and it will ricochet through to Ustari, who then plays on to Segovia, who's switched out on this right hand side, the Venezuelans. He'll double back and give it to Messi on halfway. Messi to Falcone. The centre half strides forward into the Porto half. Busquets to Cremachi. Now Messi. Messi looking for Segovia, and well, I think he's just not clicking for Inter Miami today. And well, that was intercepted by Gabri Vega, who gave it to Samu and was looking for it back from Samu, but didn't get it. And he certainly let his teammate know about it. But Porto still have it now with Varela on halfway. Now here is Gabri Vega. As Samu ahead of him, good run from Samu, was just too long. Well read by Frey. He was happy to shepherd that one back for Ustari in goal. And now he's got just over 10 minutes plus stoppage time left at the end of this first half in Atlanta. Porto still leading 1-0. Samu Agahoa's 8th minute penalty for spot kick was given following a VAR review as Noah Allen clipped the foot of João Mario as he chopped inside, just inside the penalty area on the right hand side. Our Chilean official Christian Haray was alerted to it by his VAR team, gave the penalty, which I believe ultimately was the right call. Here's Falcone now for Inter Miami on halfway. Suarez, who plays a rather unfavourable ball back to Busquets inside his own half, and he rolls it laterally to the left to Falcone. And Suarez dropping deep on halfway, and he gets away from Martin Fernandez and away from Varela. Wins the free kick, but advantage is played. Now ball in from the left from Allen. Oh, Suarez leaves it, could have a shot, but instead it's going to Cremachi, right hand side, saved by Ramos, and away by Porto. And Luis Suarez, I think the first time he could have hit that one, but he perhaps got a call from Benjamin Kremaski behind him to leave it, so he did, and Kremaski's shot saved by Ramos. Now Messi, another ball doesn't connect with a pink shirt, but Segovia will go for the second ball with Martin Fernandez. There's one back well by Gabri Vega, and he wins the throw in off Allen on the right hand side line of his own 18-yard box to relieve some pressure. But that's a good chance there from Inter Miami, the best one they've had since going behind, and it fell to Benjamin Kremaski. The ball from the left from Noah Allen was left by both Messi and Suarez for Kremaski at the back post. Not the greatest hit from the American Youth International, it must be said, but still a good save had to be made by Claudio Ramos, and it was. Cleared away now by João Mario, but taken well out of the sky by Ian Frey. And then it's Maximiliano Falcone, Benjamin Kremaski. Now Frey on halfway in the centre circle. Ian Frey to Marcelo Weigand. Weigand to Suarez, and he goes down there rather theatrically under a challenge from Fernandez, who then intercepts. Actually, it was Jose Pedro with the challenge, and then Jose Pedro intercepts the ball through, so throw in for Inter Miami on the right hand side. But Luis Suarez wasn't happy with that challenge from Jose Pedro, and now Suarez tries to make a break into the box, but he hauls back Jose Pedro, the two of them having a bit of a ding dong. Or actually, my apologies, actually Alan Varela, he pulled back there Luis Suarez, and free kick it is to Porto. And indeed, he had a good chunk of Varela's shirt there as he tried to get past him. Here's Fernandez back to Ramos in goal on the edge of the 6-yard box. Suarez trying to close him down, but he clears. No problem. Falcone takes it down nicely out of the sky. Falcone to Allen on the left flank on halfway for Segovia. He turns inside. That's a well-timed sliding challenge there by Martin Fernandez, and away come Porto down the right-hand side with Vieira. He has to double back under pressure from Falcone, but now he brings in Varela. Now on the left-hand side there for Moura, and now Vieira in the middle. Fabio Vieira hits one and over the top, wasn't coming down. He's looking for a corner, but not going to come. Strike from the edge of the box, just on the left foot, just wouldn't dip from Fabio Vieira, but that's really good build-up play there by Porto, whose supporters here inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, while outnumbered, are certainly making their voices heard and will have enjoyed this first 38 minutes in this first half where they lead 1-0. As it'll be a retrieval from Inter Miami, or is Porto going to extend their lead before the break? And Inter Miami, the passing's been loose today, particularly from Messi. I know he's only human, but you come to expect better from him. Here's Kremaski now on halfway, back to Messi, who's dropped deep onto the halfway line, the right hand side to get this one. He strides inside and plays it to Segovia. He puts it under the left hand flank for Allen, midway inside the Porto half, back to Segovia. Socked around the ankles, bright white boots. Busquets. Now Kremaski. Leaves it for Messi, midway inside the Porto half. Tries to play a ball down the left for Allen, but it's well read there by Jose Pedro, and he clears. Now Rodrigo Mora plays one out on the right hand side. Loads the room out there for Gabri Vega, but not much help there with him, so he gives it back to Joao Mario. And now Varela to Vieira, midway inside the Inter Miami half, out onto the left hand side for Moura. Overlapping is Marcano, the captain, and Marcano's going to get there. To the byline he goes, deflect across like a hoa to Mora, twisting, turning, Rodrigo Mora, slide challenge in there, Mora off the line by Falcone. Rodrigo Mora did everything but score, and Maximiliano Falcone comes back with a clearance off the line, and Marcelo Weigand here is having a word with a Porto player who went down looking for a penalty. And now Falcone is coming over, and I said things have been bubbling over, and all of a sudden there's plenty being said here. Marcelo Weigand with a few words to say there for Francisco Moura, who was down in the box looking for a penalty. And I think we'll have a look at that first. And well, initially, actually we are going to see this chance again. Marcano, a lovely flick from Samu to get into the path of Mora, who twisted and turned, dummied Busquets, forced him into a sliding challenge, and then right-footed beat the goalkeeper of Falcone and got back on the line to head it off the goal line and prevent a second for Porto. And then as the ball was scrambling around after that, Francisco Moura ended up on the turf, and Marcelo Weigand, the Inter Miami right back, had plenty to say to him. It's prompted a bit of pushing and shoving. Now, I'm not sure if Christian Harai has acted on that there, or whether it's just a bit of a word with both players. Weigand standing right over the top with Moura as he lay down, and that's certainly got the Porto man back on his feet quickly. 5 minutes now plus stoppage time till the break here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Inter Miami 0, FC Porto 1. And this game just bubbling along nicely. I wouldn't say it's been thrills and spills the whole way, but a little bit of needle in this one, which for two sides with no prior history is certainly a bit of a surprise. But yeah, these two certainly, they know what's at stake here. I think after both drawing 0-0 in their opener in games, they probably were expected to win. And with Palmeiras winning the early kick-off, putting them top of the Group A,
They know that whoever loses this one is really going to be behind the 8 ball when it comes to qualifying for the knockout stages. Whoever wins it, you would think, would be favoured to possibly top the group. Porto will face Ahly in their last game, of course. Inter Miami will take on Palmeiras, and there's a ball over the top from Allen looking for Segovia, but too long. It'll run through for Ramos. He bowls it out over onto Moura, who will make hay down the left flank, and then with Allende in front of him decides to roll it back to Marcano. Now Varela, midway inside his own half here, the Argentinian. To Gabri Vega, as I mentioned, the big money signing from Saudi club Ahly, registered in time to make the trip. Another player that Porto has splashed cash on is the man on the bench, Nauen Perez, the Argentinian defender who was on loan last season with Udinese, but Porto have made that move permanent. So Nauen Perez on the bench, an option tonight for Martin Anselmi, who, as I mentioned, in an unchanged side from that opening goalless draw of Palmeiras. Now Mora comes away for Porto. To Vieira on the left flank, midway inside his own half, just in front of his own dugout. He'll leave that one for Marcano. And now Varela back to Vieira, just over halfway. He hurdles a challenge of Allende, but won back by Inter Miami. Tadeo Allende with a good sliding challenge. Not sure that Fabio Vieira agrees with the referee's decision, but here's Inter Miami on the ball. Now Busquets, midway inside the opposition half. Finds Segovia in a pocket of space. He plays it on for Messi, but well read by Ivan Marcano, just to guide it back to Ramos, who hoofs it clear, and that's going to be a free kick. No, it's not. Well, Samu went to ground there under a challenge from Ian Frey, but the Chilean referee says no foul, and he's letting some stuff go this evening, Christian Harai, and you wonder, is that maybe just contributing a little bit to the bubbly atmosphere here? Now here comes Samu running head down. That's a really scary sight for any defence. Big powerful runner, and he's going into the box here. Samu, he's still going, saved by Ustari. And Samu stumbles, he tries to get to the rebound, and in the end fouls Sergio Busquets, but that was a really powerful run by Samu Agahoa, and his effort from a narrow angle well stopped by Oscar Ustari, but it was Ian Frey trying to stop him, and Agahoa is just too strong, too fast. And then just a stumble as the ball rebounds off Ustari, allowed Busquets in there, and Agahoa fouled him. But Porto, that's Mora now with his effort off the line, and Samu with his breakaway well saved, but now another going to breakaway as Kremaski is robbed by Vieira, and bombing forward is Gabri Vega, but Vieira chooses to ignore him. Now Varela. João Mario on the right hand touchline, midway inside the Inter Miami half. João Mario cuts inside. Rodrigo Mora on the edge of the box, plenty of pink shirts in front of him. He finds Samu. Gabri Vega to his left, he goes back to Mora. And he's going back to Varela, he hits one, off the post, off Ustari, and it stays out somehow. Oscar Ustari, the luckiest man in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. He'll tell you he meant that, but a pile driver from Alan Varela off the post, off of Ustari's head, and somehow stays out. Ustari reacted well, they have to say, after it rebounded off him to paw it away. But Porto are just banging on the door here for a second as we approach half-time, and they have done everything but score. And you have to worry if you're a Porto fan, will that one come back to bite them? Great hit there from Varela, so much power on the shot. Off the base of the post, off of Ustari's back. And whatever backspin was on the ball, it meant the ball didn't cannon back into the net, and Ustari was able to scrabble it away. And now, well, there's Agahoa's foul there off the ball, as I think that was Busquets slipped into him, but advantage played as Fabio Vieira comes forward. Now he invites Varela and Gabri Vega onto the ball. We're going to see what sort of added time we'll have here any moment now. Vieira, a couple of 1-2s with Gabri Vega. Neither of them want to keep the ball, it seems. And now Vieira will allow Varela into their little game. 2 added minutes, we're into that now. Segovia is closing down here. Porto need to be careful they don't rile Inter Miami up here. That's Fernandez on halfway. There's Jose Pedro. He nearly goes without the ball, but turns away from Suarez. And now back to Varela on halfway. Vieira and Marcano. To Moura. Vega looking for Vieira, but he takes a heavy touch. Allende can see that one in the touch for a Inter Miami throw. Frey 1-2 with Busquets, midway inside his own half, Ian Frey. Bit of a heavy pass back from Busquets, which chases him out onto the right flank. And then Messi on halfway on the right. Inter Miami need a bit of inspiration from him, and he takes a skip past Gabri Vega and looks for Allende, who just can't bring it under control, and then he clobbers. I think that was Martin Fernandez in the end that Tadeo Allende crunches into. And we're now halfway through the 2 added minutes, and well, Inter Miami are certainly, Javier Mascherano is going to have a lot to talk about at half-time with his side. They started well, but went behind that 8th minute penalty from Samu Agahoa, and since then Porto have had the better of everything really, and they've just done everything but score. They have had efforts cleared off the line, saved, and then the ball hitting the post from Alan Varela's effort from the edge of the box. Off the back of Ustari, but somehow staying out. So Porto are really battering on that door for a second. Doesn't look like they're going to get it before half-time, and you just, if you're Martin Anselmi or a Porto player or fan, you're hoping that these missed chances don't come back to haunt you in the second half. Fernandez now back to Ramos, and maybe when he launches this ball up in the Atlanta afternoon sky, that will do us. If he even does, he doesn't, so that's enough in this first half, says Christian Harai. And FC Porto lead 1-0 against Inter Miami at the break. Samu Agahoa's 8th minute penalty, the difference between the two sides so far. Porto have been much the better team. They have come close to adding a second before half-time, not able to do so. But now they will hope that those missed chances don't come back to haunt them in the second half. Inter Miami perhaps fortunate only to be a goal down. Javier Mascherano much to do in the dressing room at half-time. But for now, half-time at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's Inter
In Atlanta, Georgia, where at halftime, FC Porto lead Inter Miami by a solitary 0-0. Samu Agahoa's 8th minute penalty that Oscar Ustari did well to get a hand to but couldn't keep out is the difference between the two sides here. That's the fact that Porto only have one goal is not through want of trying. They were not just knocking on the door, they were nearly trying to kick it down just before half time. Samu had an effort well saved. Moro went off the line, and then a strike from Alan Varela hitting the post, hitting the goalkeeper, somehow staying out. Inter Miami, I would imagine, would have got a bit of a rocket from Javier Mascherano at half time. They just were not good enough in that first half. Lionel Messi, not at his usual mercurial best, but neither with 10 teammates. And they must improve now. So Porto kicking us off here left to right in their traditional colours, blue and white striped shirts, blue shorts and white socks with gold numbers, which you'll excuse me, were difficult to read at points in the first half, but I'll try my best. And Inter Miami in their home strip of all light pink with the black trim. No changes at half time that I'm aware of. So for Inter Miami it's Ustari, Weigand, Frey, Falcone, Allen, Allende, Kremaski, Busquets, Segovia, Suarez, Messi. And for Porto is Ramos, Marcano, Fernandez, Pedro, Stromario, Varela, Vega, Mora, Vieira and Agahoa. As Inter Miami try to come on the attack here early in this second half, but forced backwards. Busquets will go to Frey. And you did see Jordi Alba as he was sitting on the bench after half time, getting the shin pads taped on. So we'll see if he's going to make an appearance. He missed the opener with ahly with a hamstring problem he's been struggling with for a while now, but named among the subs today. And down the right hand side with Allende, come into Miami, overlapping there. It's Weigand for Segovia. What a start to the second half, 2 minutes in, and it's Telasco Segovia with a stunning strike. He lashes that one into the roof of the net. Lovely build up down the right between Tadeo Allende and Marcelo Weigand, and his cutback to Segovia on the half volley lashed into the roof of the net. And I said that Javier Mascherano will have given his side a rocket at half time. Clearly it has worked, because Inter Miami are level here against Porto. I said it just before the break that would those missed chances for Porto come back to haunt them, and they have indeed, almost immediately after half time. Started with a lovely little shimmy from Sergio Busquets, and then Weigand to Allende down the right. The Boca Juniors loanee Weigand continued his run to the byline, cut it back, and there was Segovia. It was just behind Kremaski, but Segovia ghosted in. Nobody in blue and white picked him up. I think that was supposed to be Martin Fernandez's man, but he just lost him and smashed into the roof of the net from the Venezuelan Telasco Segovia. And Claudio Ramos, who for a game and a half really has been in fine fettle between the sticks, has been beaten for the first time in this tournament, and Inter Miami have their first goal at this tournament, and it is Telasco Segovia, the man who has got it. So what do Porto have in response now? It's a brilliant finish in the Venezuelan. Now it's back here with Jose Pedro in the centre circle to Martin Fernandez. And on the right hand side for João Mario, who won the penalty after 8 minutes that Samu Agahoa deposited, given by VAR after he was tipped by Noah Allen. Now there's a ball in behind here, and Weigand's been caught out. It's to the byline to Porto, keep it in just about. Delivery's in there over the head of Agahoa. João Mario contesting work with Segovia, and oh well, I think Fabio Vieira wanted Alan Varela out of the way, and he was in his way, and his volley was shanked badly wide. But Inter Miami need to be careful there, almost caught out down that left hand side. But in the end, it is a shanked volley wide by Fabio Vieira, who mentioned at the top of this, spent last season on loan from Arsenal. His loan is due to end here basically at the end of next week, effectively at the end of this month. But given special compensation to play in this tournament for his loan club, we'll see if his parent club are what they're going to do with him. He certainly hasn't really made too much of a mark on Mikel Arteta's side, but was key man for Porto this season, but a disappointing season for Porto, finishing third in the league. Current manager Martin Anselmi took over in January after Vitor Bruno, who took over from the hugely successful Sergio Conceição, who won 11 honours in his 7 years at Porto before leaving to take on the AC Milan job, but he was also sacked from mid-season. And Anselmi took over from Vitor Bruno after defeats mid-season against Nacional and Gil Vicente, two bottom feeders in the Portuguese league. But they were third when he left, and that's where they finished under Anselmi, so it wasn't an enjoyable season for the Dragão, who are now 2 years removed from winning the title. They also were knocked out of the League Cup and Cup in the early stages, so a disappointing year for the Portuguese Giants. And they'll be hoping to improve on next year. I mentioned that signing of Gabri Veiga. It's a good first step to doing so with a good talented young side. One of those youngsters, the 18-year-old Rodrigo Mora, filing a man much his senior, Sergio Busquets. So that's going to be a free kick to the men in pink here. It's 6 minutes played in the second half, and who else but Lionel Messi to be standing over this one. Two-man Porto wall. It's about 30 yards out, maybe 35. Messi's going to have a go, left-footed strike. Ooh, and it just, Ramos was getting across to that one, and it just drifted wide from Messi, but he was only ever going to have a shot on goal there. He got it up and over the wall, and it dipped, but it was always just dipping away from Claudio Ramos's goal. For Inter Miami, well, I mentioned they won the Supporters' Shield for best regular season record in MLS last season, and one there presented with by the FIFA president Gianni Infantino. And they're also given their place in this Club World Cup, which stirred much controversy considering that they lost in this very stadium, beaten over two legs by Atlanta United in the first round of the playoffs. An embarrassing exit for them, and probably for FIFA as well, as the eventual MLS Cup winners, Los Angeles Galaxy, were not invited. Here's Messi now going forward. And well marshalled, but he gets it back to Busquets. And Messi to the goal scorer Segovia, midway inside the Porto half. Suarez to Messi, edge of the box, Messi to Suarez. Messi's run was curtailed there, and our Chilean official, a little bit of a delay, but Christian Haray gives the free kick to Inter Miami on the edge of the D, on the edge of the box. It was Messi who was fouled, and now this crowd here at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium are on their feet. The last one was quite far out and he came close, but this free kick is very, very much in Messi territory. Lovely link up, Segovia, Suarez and Messi, and then it was, well, Mora had his hand in the back, and then Messi just ran into Jose Pedro. So pick your foul there really, but either way, it's a free kick on the edge of the D for Inter Miami. And you know there's only one man who's going to take this, Claudio Ramos, urgently instructing his wall, getting it built. We're about to see a bit of Messi magic here. Inter Miami equalising just after half time. We played 8 minutes in this second half, and now we have ourselves an Inter Miami free kick just on the edge of the D. The number 10, the man whose shirt dominates the stands here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, be it an Inter Miami shirt, Barcelona shirts, Argentina shirts, they're all there. Plenty of Messi number 10s on the back now. On the edge of the D, centre, let's say 4-man wall, 5-man wall for Porto, plus Alan Varela lying down behind it as the draft excluder in case that Messi does their cheeky one under the wall. Messi territory, here comes left-footed, oh, of course he scored! Of course he scored! Lionel Messi, a perfect free kick, curls it over the wall and into the top corner, and Mercedes-Benz Stadium erupts here as Inter Miami have turned this game around within 9 minutes. At the start of this second half, and it's Lionel Messi with a stunning free kick, and Claudio Ramos, the Porto goalkeeper, is left with a look on his face that so many goalkeepers over the years have, a look of befuddlement, a look of frustration, and ultimately a look of a man well beaten by a stunning Lionel Messi free kick. He could not have placed that any better. The wall did not do its job. Jordi Alba's hamstring certainly looked okay, celebrating on the bench. What a strike from Lionel Messi. It just had to be him. And that has got Mercedes-Benz Stadium erupting. Lionel Messi, that's his 50th goal for Inter Miami. And Javier Mascherano's men, within 10 minutes of the start of this second half, have completely flipped this game on its head. They went in at the break 1-0 down and struggling, fortunate not to be more than 1-0 down. I said, will Porto live to regret those missed chances? Goodness me, they have. Segovia equalising 2 minutes after the break with a brilliant finish, and Lionel Messi with the free kick that he won. He had a sighter from just further out, land just wide a moment before, but when he was fouled just on the edge of the D central, it's a tough spot to hit a free kick from, but if anyone's going to score it, it's Lionel Messi. Porto, though, have responded really well there and have gone up the other end to win a corner kick. But Lionel Messi, who was, by his lofty standards, way off the pace in the first half, has grabbed this game by the scruff of the neck and has put his side ahead, but they've got a corner kick to defend here now. Can Porto respond? They look shell-shocked. It's going to be Alan Varela, the Argentinian, for Porto with a right-footed out-swinging corner. In it comes, it's flicked on the front post, away though by Falcone, and now Alan will come away with it. His foul, and 8 minutes to concede the penalty seems a long time ago. Suarez flicks along looking for Segovia. He and Vieira come crunching together in an aerial battle. And then it's won back though by Martin Fernandez off Kremaski, but as he goes for the return ball, Gabri Vega can't find him. And Ustari coolly chips the ball out to Noah Allen in the left back position to clear it away. Now Segovia. Back to Busquets in the edge of his own box. Goes back to Frey. Centre half for Inter Miami. Out to Weigand. Busquets. Weigand again. Kremaski now over halfway on the right hand side. Plays the one in behind for Messi. Bit of a heavy touch by Messi's standards. Oh, and he's offside. Ooh. Late flag, I'm not sure about that one, but the linesman on the far side flags Lionel Messi offside. But what a stunning goal from Lionel Messi. The free kick, just a all-time classic. You go through the highlight reels over the years and he's scored dozens of those ones before. Doesn't make it any less special, and that is just a Lionel Messi classic. But Porto have responded well. Gabri Vega, oh, good sliding interception by Ian Frey, who's had a really good game at the back. He will be overshadowed now by the goal scorers, particularly Messi, but Frey has had a really good game. Now, Kremaski's bursting down the middle here, being chased by 3 or 4 blue and white shirts, but he's powering on through the middle. Great sliding challenge over the captain, Marcano. And it'll go back to Ramos. Well, it was actually an apology. It was Tadeo Allende who was bursting through the middle there. But a perfectly timed slide tackle with the Porto captain Ivan Marcano wins it back. Approaching the hour mark now at Mercedes-Benz Stadium that has erupted into life here at the start of this second half, and it looks like there's going to be a double change made by Martin Anselmi, the Porto manager. All of a sudden they are very much behind the 8 ball when it comes to qualifying for the last 8 or the last 16 of this tournament. I can see the number 70 shirt there, the striker Gonzalo Borges is down there. I couldn't quite see who the other was, but we'll see very shortly. But in the meantime, it's Lionel Messi on halfway. Options ahead of him. One of them is going down the right hand side is Weigand. In the middle of Suarez, loads of room. Can Weigand find him? Oh, great interception there by Jose Pedro. That was almost perfect ball from Marcelo Weigand looking for Luis Suarez, but Jose Pedro could not have positioned himself better to intercept that one. Now Porto are on the attack. This game has opened up massively. Vieira looking for Mura, who slid to keep that one in but has come up lame there. So it's João Mario. I think he's okay though. I thought maybe it stretched his hamstring, maybe it's just the knee from landing on the turf. Either way, it's a throw in for Inter Miami on the left hand side, midway inside their own half that Noah Allen's going to take. So the first sub, we're actually going to see the Canadian international Stephen Eustachio on for Gabri Vega, and the next sub is going to be Martin Fernandez off and Gonzalo Borges on. So a real change of tack there from Martin Anselmi. They're going to go 4 at the back anyway. It's Gonzalo pushing forward, Gonzalo Borges pushing forward. Stephen Eustachio, I mentioned, the Canadian international, will shore up the midfield. So one would imagine now obviously Ramos in goal, then you'll have João Mario and Francisco Mura, who've been operating as wing backs. Maybe will drop down in the more traditional fullbacks with Marcano and Jose Pedro, the centre halves. And then it'll be Vieira, possibly Vieira, Eustachio and Varela. The midfield three with Mora, Samu and Borges. Acting to the fact that they have gone 2-1 down here within 10 minutes of the start of the second half, having been a goal up at half. First touch for him. Jose Pedro now on halfway. Advantage played as Eustachio was fouled by Suarez, who offers an apologetic hand to the Canadian. Here's João Mario still pushing forward. Vieira to the left there now for Moura. Back to Vieira. Moura, left corner of the penalty area. Vieira again to Varela. Back to Marcano. He'll overlap, so still plenty of freedom for the defenders and everybody to mix and match here and get forward for Porto. There's a good delivery over the head of Samu, away by Allen. We'll drop on the edge of the box for Borges. First touch, he's dancing, he goes to ground. And the referee immediately gives the signal of the ball. Sergio Busquets went with a sliding challenge there on Gonzalo Borges and had the time it perfectly and did with a perfect sliding challenge. And apologies if it was to Marcelo Weigand, because that was a perfect Marcelo Weigand. Was it him with a perfect sliding challenge? And apologies if it was to Marcelo Weigand, because that was a perfect slide tackle, but maybe whatever way he has hit the turf there, he seems to be holding his left hip. And we're going to see another Argentinian, Tomas Aviles, join us shortly for Inter Miami. He was one of the two changes from the first game with ahly. A centre half by trade, which might push Ian Frey out to right back as he did in game one. I'm going to assume that Marcelo Weigand's evening is done here one way or another. It was nothing too serious. That was a perfectly sliding challenge there on Gonzalo Borges. Messi also going to have a rub in his leg. We're hoping that's nothing more than a freshener for him. But 62 minutes gone here in Atlanta. It's Inter Miami 2, FC Porto 1. Porto were 1-0 at half time. Samu Agahoa's 8th minute penalty, and they did everything but score the rest of the first half. I think Weigand is now being helped off here by Maximiliano Falcone and Oscar Ustari. He's really struggling there. Putting no weight really on his left leg, so he may well have suffered for that perfect slide tackle there, Marcelo Weigand, and he is indeed off, and Tomas Aviles is on, so one would assume that will push Ian Frey out to right back, and Aviles will go into his natural home at centre half. That was a sore one from Weigand, but it may well have been a very important one. So on comes Aviles for Inter Miami here on 63 minutes, and I think Porto will be glad to see the back of Weigand. Even in the first half he was a real menace. He was getting into a few of the Porto players. Aviles gets his first touch, maybe he'll just slot straight into right back. It looks like he might. We shall see. Flicked forward again. Allen nods it away before Borges can get to it. Now Busquets spins and turns away to Messi. Messi now to Kremaski, out onto the right hand side for Allende. Tadeo Allende on loan from Lanús in Argentina. Here's Messi looking back for Allende, well read there by Francisco Moura. The intercept, who was bombing forward plenty in the first half, but with that change of formation might be forced into a more traditional defensive role. But here's Gonzalo Borges moving forward, and well, he thought he was fouled by the new man Aviles, but nothing doing, says Christian Haray. And now Inter Miami come forward. Porto pouring men back, but it's Messi, right hand corner of the penalty area. Goes back to Busquets. Busquets thinks went over the top too long for both Allende and Messi, and Ramos can claim that one. And he bowls it out underarm to Jose Pedro. Now here's Eustachio for Porto. And the right flank for João Mario. Back to Eustachio, born in Canada, in Edmonton, Alberta, but to Portuguese parents. So certainly no language barrier here. He was playing for Paços de Ferreira before this. And The real key man in Jesse Marsh's Canada squad, however, after playing in the friendly games or the Canadian Shield games against Ukraine and New Zealand, he's chosen to go with his club instead of his country, as Canada are currently taking part in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. We've now played 65 minutes here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. As we get a look at Pepe, among others, up there in the box here in Atlanta, the former Porto, Real Madrid and Portugal international. The throw in now to the Dragons on the left hand side, taken by Mura. And now Jose Pedro in the centre circle. Eustachio leaves off for Marcano. Back to Eustachio. Right, Jose Pedro up over halfway. Good run ahead from João Mario. Shunted off that one by Noah Allen, but the ball will go out to Borges now on the right hand side, penalty area. Gets to the byline, Borges, well marshalled by Allen, but he gets the ball in. Up goes Mora, good header won there though by Frey, and the ball will drop for Ustari. He will pick it up before Samu can get near him. And the experienced goalkeeper, dressed all in yellow this evening, the Inter Miami goalkeeper, will think about bowling it out, but instead will scythe it, volley that one forward. And Suarez went for that one, but it was won by Jose Pedro, but illegally so, says our Chilean referee. Free kick it is to Inter Miami in the centre circle, so things have calmed down slightly since that manic opening this second half, where first Telasco Segovia scored a stunning equaliser for that one. Unfortunately for the Venezuelan, will likely be overshadowed by Lionel Messi's stunning free kick. I said you can go through the archives through the years for club and country. Lionel Messi has scored dozens of free kicks right on the edge of the D, central, but it just doesn't make it any less special every time. Just floats it into the top corner. Claudio Ramos, no chance, as he just dinks the ball over Luis Suarez's head out to João Mario. But that's given away by Eustachio to Segovia. And Messi on the left hand side, midway inside the Porto half, right in front of his dugout. Allen goes back to Falcone. Vides, who has indeed slotted in at centre half beside Falcone, with Ian Frey pushing out to right back. That's how this is the back line Inter Miami played against ahly in the first game. Ahly were defeated 2-0 by Palmeiras earlier in New Jersey, which means that the Brazilians are currently top, but as it stands, Inter Miami will join them, and only on goal difference will they sit in second, and this could be a big blow for Porto, this, who will play ahly in the final game, but will very much be behind the 8 ball when it comes to trying to qualify for the knockout stage. Eustachio a strong challenge on Messi, but Suarez has it back on halfway now with Segovia. Suarez back to Messi. Busquets in the centre circle has runners ahead of him. He finds Frey on the right hand side, midway inside the Porto half. Ian Frey at the Kremashki. Vides to Busquets, socks around the ankles, and back inside their own half now with Maximiliano Falcone, and Segovia goes to ground under challenge from Eustachio, who shows his displeasure at the perceived dramatics of Segovia, but the referee was not fooled anyway. But it's back to Ustari on the edge of the box. Ustari, bit of a risky back pass there from Vides, but he recovers it well there, Ustari. So, as I mentioned earlier, we'll have selected games from the Club World Cup the whole way through on commentary, as well as previews, stats, reports, everything you need from every single game. But tonight this is game one of a triple header this evening from the Club World Cup. After me, we'll have Sam May on commentary for Seattle Sounders against Atletico Madrid. That is a 11 PM UK time kickoff from Lumen Field in Seattle, a home game for the Sounders. And then after him, well, it's the middle of the night UK time anyway, we'll have the big clash between the champions of Europe against the champions of South America, Paris Saint-Germain versus Botafogo. That's a 2 AM UK time kickoff. It'll be Jack Goodwin across that, so you've got some top quality commentators as always here at Flash Score UK, and as always keeping you abreast of everything. And don't forget too, we're officially partnered with DAZN, who are the television partner for the FIFA Club World Cup. So stick with Flash Score and DAZN. You will not miss a kick. You will be right across every single game of the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup from the United States. So we're about to see a sub for Inter Miami, but play is going on so far as number 55 shirt of Federico Redondo, who along with Aviles was the other man replaced from the Al Ahly game, so he's going to be removed. We'll see if it's for Kremaski. If it is, then that will mean that it'll be the same 11 they started with against the Egyptians. But now it's with Jose Pedro at the back for Porto. 20 minutes to go in Atlanta. Inter Miami 2, FC Porto 1. As Inter Miami look to join Palmeiras at the top of the group on 4 points after 2 games. Outside here with Francisco Moura, who plays on forward to find Samu, who has been quiet since the break, but he brings in Rodrigo Mora, and now, well, an offside flag was up against the young Spanish striker, and that just about sums up his second half anyway. And well, it's going to be the number 8 shirt going up of the goal scorer, the first goal scorer, Telasco Segovia, the Venezuelan, who is going to be withdrawn here for Federico Redondo on 71 minutes. What an impact Segovia had, much like the rest of his team. Largely anonymous in the first half, but 2 minutes after half time, a thunderous strike, and the ball was cut back to him by Marcelo Weigand. He lashed it home into the roof of the net to equalise and set up the scene for Lionel Messi's stunning free kick to put the Floridians up 2-1. Their domestic season hasn't been going great so far for Javier Mascherano's men. They come into this sitting 6th in the Eastern Conference, 8 points behind conference leaders Philadelphia Union. But after losing 3-0 to Orlando City in the Florida Derby at the beginning of last month, they come into this on a 3-game unbeaten run and have been scoring plenty of goals. They drew 3-3 with the league leaders Philadelphia Union before beating CF Montreal 4-2 and Columbus Crew 5-1 before coming into it. So 12 goals in their last 3 games coming into this tournament. They maybe for the rest of Major League Soccer, that's not a good sign, is that Javier Mascherano's men are starting to find their feet after a humdrum start to the season. They were also dumped unceremoniously out of the CONCACAF Champions League in the semi-finals, 5-1 over 2 legs by the Vancouver Whitecaps. Competition that they were expected to win. So it hasn't been going well so far, but the goalless draw is maybe a bit of a surprise actually, with Al Ahly having gone a bit of a goal-scoring splurge in the league before coming in this one. But indeed 6th in the Eastern Conference, but only 8 points off the top. That's how tight it is in the US. Oh, it's a great ball to the back post. Ooh, and Ustari, did he prevent the corner there? He did. That was a deep ball into the back post there. I think that might have been Francisco Moura who met it with a header at the back post. Ustari saved it and held it at the second attempt, prevented the corner, and nothing there. Porto creating a chance, so just proving to Inter Miami they cannot rest on their laurels. A 1-goal lead, it's dangerous. Martin Anselmi is also looking to make a change. Can't quite make out who it is, but I'll let you know who that blue and white striped player will be shortly, as Busquets gets that away under pressure from Samu. Now onto the right hand side, just over halfway, with Frey. Now there's Frey overlapping, good pass to pick him out from Redondo. And now Frey to the byline on the right hand side, tries to chop inside. It's a challenge by, well, it was by Jose Pedro, and the last touch comes off Ian Frey and out for a corner kick. Or sorry, a goal kick, sorry, for FC Porto. And that sub, we're going to see the Brazilian winger William Gomez join us here in place of Alan Varela on 74 minutes for Porto. So a change used, the third sub used by Martin Anselmi. That's Varela off, Gomez on for Porto. Now here is Joao Mario. He's one down the line there. Good ball for Borges to chase. Oh, and Samu couldn't get touched, but it's arriving at the back post, and Ustari claims it. That was a new man, William Gomez, straight off the bench there, almost with an immediate impact. A ball from the right hand side there from Gonzalo Borges. was just behind Samu, and William Gomez seemed to sneak up behind Ian Frey there, but he couldn't make good contact to it, and well, as he stretched for it, he might have caught Oscar Ustari, but no foul, but the goalkeeper holds it, and Porto fans here inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium getting frustrated. They know this second half has gone horribly wrong, really, after they dominated the first half but could only score one goal. And Martin Anselmi standing, barking orders. I was just about to say, as Javier Mascherano sits calmly in the dugout next to him, but all of a sudden he's out to the edge of his technical area too, as we enter the last 15 minutes here in Atlanta. Inter Miami 2-1 up here on FC Porto. You're listening to Mark Strange here live on Flash Score UK. Thanks for joining me wherever you are in the world. It's always a pleasure to have you along with me, and this has been a really entertaining game, particularly since half time. Going into the last 15 minutes now, Porto know they have to chase this one. Borges on the right hand side in front of his own dugout. Back to Eustachio and Jose Pedro on halfway. Luis Suarez gesticulating with his teammates to start pressing, but well, they don't even need to. Ivan Marcano with a dreadful pass there. Way over. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons NFL play here, and sometimes, you know, your quarterback will just throw one in the touch, and that's what it looked like Ivan Marcano was doing there. It's poor. And now Frey will take the throw in. Hooked on by Suarez. One for Allende to chase, but he's going to be beaten to it by Francisco Mura, who goes back to Claudio Ramos, and in turn he clips one forward, but Kremashi beats João Mario to it. Now Suarez, midway inside the Inter Miami half. Ball through Allende, looks to be offside there, I think. Suarez poked it through to him, indeed he is. Offside flag is up against Tadeo Allende, as we see Jordi Alba getting himself ready down there. I mentioned back in the squad today after missing the opener with a hamstring problem that he's been nursing for a while. Just a one corner, by the way, between the two teams. It went the way of Porto. No corner kicks really to speak about. Now here's William Gomez, challenged by Ian Frey, and that looks like a free kick. It is indeed. Frey just got that one all wrong, but now Frey is down, touching well. I'll let your imagination see where he's touching. All I'll say is, all the men listening, you'll be wincing at that one. But Frey crunching Gomez there, and that is a free kick to Porto on the left hand side of the penalty area. Frey is still down, that looks like a sore one, alright. I'm sure there's maybe a little element of gamesmanship here too, but Frey's evening may be over anyway, because Jordi Alba is indeed getting himself ready, which means the Javier Mascherano side may have their third right back of the evening. But what a brilliant man to come on, as Mascherano gives his former teammate some last minute advice. Great experience and quality to bring off the bench. I think we're also going to see the Haitian international Fafa Pico coming on, who, as I mentioned earlier, you didn't hear, scored the late winner here for Inter Miami against Atlanta United in the league back in March, after Lionel Messi had equalised an opener from former Middlesbrough man Emmanuel Lante-Lath, who's now playing his football here in his home stadium. And Ian Frey is certainly well, the stretcher is almost ready to come on here. I don't quite know if it's that bad, but it's a sore one for Frey. He is going to be replaced here by Jordi Alba. We'll see who Pico comes on for as well. A double sub for Javier Mascherano, which leaves him with one sub left the last 12 minutes, so it's going to be Fafa Pico's number goes up instead of Frey, so he's going to enter the fray, pardon the pun, first. And the other man to come off is going to be Tadeo Allende for Jordi Alba. So it'll be Alba really for Frey and Pico for Allende, with just around 11 minutes to go here. The Haiti international, as I mentioned, Fafa Pico, signed from Vancouver Whitecaps in the summer, or over the winter, sorry. Jordi Alba on here to add some experience and quality to this Inter Miami back line, but they're going to have a dangerous free kick to contest here. Lionel Messi is the one man on the wall. It's just about 5 yards outside the penalty area, about 15 yards from the byline on the left hand side, that is. And there's Rodrigo Moro is one of the men over it, the other is Fabio Vieira. Pink shirts and blue and white shirts lined up inside the penalty area, and Christian Harai, our referee, just making sure that everything is by the book. A couple of blue and white shirts also lurking at the edge of the box. Maybe a training ground routine to come. Vieira does give it off to Morrow, who hits one. Oh, and it just curls wide. Well, in the end, that comes to nothing. Fabio takes a deflection action the way through, so Porto are going to get a corner from it. Taken short by Fabio Vieira to Rodrigo Morrow, and his curling effort takes a deflection the way through, and it'll be Vieira to take the left-footed in-swinging corner here for the Dragons. Dragons against the Pelicans here. So far, the Dragons are the ones being slayed. In it comes. Oh, it's away there by Aviles, and then a couple of headers away by Jordi Alba. First touch for him, and it's away. And Aviles left-footed clears down the touchline. Header one there by Gomez above Suarez, and now Vieira on the right-hand side, midway inside the Miami half. Great ball. It's a deep ball though onto the left-hand side. Going after it is Gomez. To Morrow on the edge of the box. Rodrigo Morrow tips one in there. Samu with a header. Oh, glances it wide. It was close. Ustari seemed to have it covered though, with Samu getting out to win the header. As I mentioned, he's had a quiet second half, but he's always a threat. Getting up above Aviles there to win that header and just glancing it wide. Oscar Ustari seemed fairly confident that one was going to drift wide of his post, and indeed it did. Maybe a long goal kick from Oscar Ustari. Graphic here says Inter Miami have used all 5 of their subs, but they haven't. Still have one left. I think that's Luis Suarez left in a crumpled heap there, but Porto aren't going to wait for him. Borges now on the edge of the box, deflected. Comes back to João Mario, who hurdles the challenge of Redondo, but the clearance will be picked up by the captain Marcano, midway inside the Inter Miami half. Ivan Marcano. And he in the end is going to be asked, or maybe does it voluntarily, I don't know, to put that ball out of play. To allow Luis Suarez some treatment. He's down at the other end of the pitch, holding his sort of his cheek or near his ear. I didn't quite catch what happened, but we shall see, I'm sure, very shortly. Just as he and Marcano were going for the header, Suarez seems to have slipped into Marcano's elbow. And it's not a foul by the Porto captain, but Suarez certainly feeling it. And well, as usual with Luis Suarez, if you know anything about him over the years, he doesn't take too many decisions lying down, and that's the official know what he thinks of him. But we've got 8 minutes to go here now in Atlanta. Martin Anselmi, whose side led 1-0 at the break and should have had more, have been punished for that with 2 goals. The first from Telasco Segovia, and then a stunning Lionel Messi free kick within 10 minutes of the restart, has the Floridians up 2-1. Here's Borges on the right hand side. Borges goes to the byline. Good block by Allen. That's going to be another corner for Porto, their 3rd of the evening. Salo Borges there trying to cause some trouble at the back for Inter Miami. Instead, that's going to be a corner. It's Fabio Vieira. Takes short to William Gomez. Cuts on this left foot. Space for Gomez. Loads of bodies in the way, and it takes a nick on the way through. It might have been off Suarez. There's going to be another corner on the far side this time for Portos. They are pouring the pressure on here. Rodrigo Morrow nearly going to take that one quickly, but instead we'll just slow things down and wait for Vieira to come over and take a right-footed out swinger. But from a free kick earlier, he did play it short to Morrow, whose shot was deflected behind. Well, they consider the same. Morrow is there, but no, it looks like Vieira's going to deliver. He does. Have it goes. Ooh, and Marcano went up for it with Suarez. Samu was lurking around the back, but it's headed away. João Mario, midway inside the Inter Miami half, skips past Redondo. Marcano over the top looking for Morrow, and it's going to be too long, and that's a disappointing end to that one. And now, I think that's Noah Allen is now lying down inside his own penalty area, and well, we've seen a couple of goalkeepers in this tournament. Most recently, actually, it's Maximiliano Falcone who's down. I couldn't see his shock of curly hair on David Luiz-esque. He's back up on his feet now, but we've seen a couple of goalkeepers, most recently Bono of Al Hilal against Real Madrid yesterday in this tournament, getting penalised for a new 8-second rule where the goalkeeper holds every 8 seconds or more and a corner is given to the opposition. So That's being rolled out across all football from next month onwards. This is the first tournament to be using it. And perhaps now teams will have to find other ways just to start running down the clock. Inter Miami are certainly have spades of experience in this team if they want to start doing that. Throw in though to Porto on the right just in front of their dugout, which Fabio Vieira will take. He was looking for options quickly, but none really appeared, so throw it down the line. Borges flicks it on. Good powerful header one by Redondo above Eustachio. And now Suarez has Pico making a run ahead of him, but he can't play the pass to him because he's fouled by João Mario. And on 85 minutes, oh, he fouled João Mario. Well, that's not what I was expecting, okay. But here we go. William Gomez, left corner of the penalty area, skips past Busquets. Good challenge by Aviles. And that's not going to be a corner, it's going to be a free kick out to Inter Miami. As William Gomez was adjudged to foul Tomas Aviles there. So a bit of a strange decision. I thought Luis Suarez had won that free kick, but in the end he was the one, despite him landing in a crumpled heap on the ground, he was the one adjudged to have been the aggressor there. But all comes to naught as Inter Miami win a free kick inside their own box. So just under 5 minutes plus stoppage time left here in Atlanta. You're listening to FIFA Club World Cup commentary here. Inter Miami 2, FC Porto 1. I'm Mark Strange, live for Flash Score UK. Samu Agahoa's early penalty cancelled out 2 minutes after the break by a stunning finish by Talasco Segovia, and then a trademark Lionel Messi free kick, curling one into the top corner from the edge of the box. Within 10 minutes of the start of the second half, this game flipped on its head, and Porto have pushed for an equaliser, but with 4 minutes to go now, it hasn't come, and now Pico is going to test the pace there of Francisco Moura, but Moura does well, but he's now facing his own goal, and did he run that out for a corner? Pico certainly thinks so, and the linesman agrees, so good pressure from Fafa Pico there, even though Francisco Moura did well to reach that ball before him. The pressure forced the centre half just to run that one behind his own line for a corner kick, which Lionel Messi is, as you would expect, not in much of a hurry to take. But we're going to have a couple of double sub here for Porto. They're going to use their last two subs. The first one is going to see Ivan Marcano off, the captain. He's replaced by the Brazilian defender Otavio. That one looks like a straight swap. And then that man Moura, who's just conceded the corner, he's going to be replaced by the young Turkish forward Deniz Gül. So that's Otavio and Gül on here for Porto in place of Marcano and Moura. So that's the last of Martin Anselmi's subs used here. Not sure who has taken the armband off of. It's actually the goalkeeper is going to be Claudio Ramos, who's taken the armband off of Ivan Marcano. Lionel Messi waiting to take this corner, not happy with some of the attention being received in the middle, but played short to Kremaski. Messi back to Jordi Alba. Messi now clips it over the top for Alba. That's a Barcelona-esque move. Alba, well, he had to stretch to keep it in the end he does, but they'll roll out for a throw-in. Now it's back to Otavio, who tries to clear left-footed, but that's deflected out for a throw-in. So Inter Miami penning Porto in here. Eustachio with a throw-in. Back to Otavio, who dummies Messi. That's what he'll tell his mates about. And now Claudio Ramos will clip one out to the right hand side for João Mario, who tries to let that one run and does. And was he fouled by Suarez, or is that a throw in to Miami? I believe it was a foul right down in front of Javier Mascherano in the Inter Miami dugout, who has been animated as ever, much like he was as a player, Mascherano, and managing some of his former teammates like Alba and Suarez, Busquets, Messi. Right, on the left hand side now is William Gomez for Porto into the box. Good tackle by Pico, the forward getting back to do his defensive duties. Everyone's going to have to muck in here for Inter Miami to hold on here, and Pico does, but it's a throw into Porto on the left, around 15 yards from the byline. Actually taken by Newman Gül. And now Vieira, and he's fouled. No, he's actually done the foul there on Pico, and that's going to frustrate Fabio Vieira as he just couldn't bring that ball under control. And Martin Anselmi, who, like I said, took over in January from Vitor Bruno after a couple of poor defeats, left Porto in third, and ultimately that's where they did finish. So things didn't get worse under the Argentinian, but they didn't get better. And he's under a bit of pressure to make the change things here at Porto. He was given the financial backing already this summer, signing Gabri Vega, the young Spanish midfielder from ahly. and also making the deal for Nahuel Perez, who has remained on the bench this evening after he was on loan from Udinese last season. They've made that deal permanent, but it's going to be tough to challenge the two big Lisbon clubs. Sporting winning the title last season, 11 clear of Porto. Benfica were 2 points behind them, still 9 clear of the Dragons, who finished the season in 3rd. And there's a delivery in, and it's too long. Samu can't keep his effort down. Ball in from Fabio Vieira. Knocked down for Samu, and he smashed the volley over. That 3rd place finish away for Porto will see them into the Europa League phase. No need for qualifiers, but they're Champions League regulars, but not this season. We're going to have 7 added minutes here in Atlantis. This game is not over by any stretch. Suarez there challenging with a new man goal, and a judge to have fouled him right in front of the Miami bench, and they did not take kindly to that. Indeed, 7 added minutes here. Vieira skips away from Messi. Now over halfway, Fabio Vieira to João Mario, and he's clipped there by Jordi Alba just inside the Porto in Miami half, and all of a sudden Jordi Alba has sustained an injury, or has he? Maybe again just a bit of clock management there from the experienced Jordi Alba, and indeed he is now back to his feet and okay. So Vieira's going to take the free kick around 45 yards from goal. There's pink shirts and blue and white shirts lining up along the edge of the penalty area if he wants to deliver it long. But instead, coming short as an option is Eustáquio. And now Gomez. Left-footed ball is blocked, and it's going to be brought away here by Kremaski, looking for Pico, can't find him. And that's going to be Mora, and good, well-timed challenge by Kremaski after Mora had skipped past Busquets, but Benjamin Kremaski, the USA Youth International, coming back to cover. And that's going to throw in on the left-hand side here. It's going to be taken by Otavio. Long throw in. Samu wins the header up in the air. Mora challenging with Redondo. It's going to drop for a blue and white shirt. Oh, it hits Samu in the way through. It was an effort from William Gomez, and it hit his own man as it was travelling towards goal. Don't know if it would have troubled Oscar Ustari, but we wouldn't have known because Samu ended up in the way. And now it's Messi on the ball, and you can see the fans here inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium rise to their feet as he gets the ball. We've played 2 minutes of the 7 added here in Atlanta. Flash Score UK's coverage here of the FIFA Club World Cup. I'm Mark Strange, guiding you through this one, which looks as though Inter Miami are going to hold on for a big victory here and take a big step towards the knockout stage. Redondo making a good run here, and in the end, well, was he fouled there by Otavio? No. Borges just steps across him, but Redondo and Otavio were coming together, and the referee says nothing. Javier Mascherano is literally hopping mad on the sideline. He's bounced up and down there, and there's a long pass, too long for Moro, and that's going to throw in to Inter Miami on the right hand side, just roughly in line with the edge of the 18-yard box. And we've discovered that Lionel Messi, of course, has been given the Player of the Match award. That stunning free kick to put his side 2-1 up 10 minutes after the break. At the minute, it's going to be the game winner. We've still got 4 minutes of added time to play here. Throw in taken by Kremaski, misjudged by Suarez, and João Mario can take it off him just inside the Inter Miami half. He skips past Jordi Alba, now on the left touchline. Moro, left corner of the penalty. Yeah, good touch from Moro. He's been really good here, Rodrigo Moro. He went down there under challenge with Aviles, but nothing doing. It's cleared away, and Messi tries to outpace Jose Pedro, but he'll roll it back to his goalkeeper Claudio Ramos. And now Pedro will go again here for Porto in the centre circle, up over halfway. You know, Messi not exactly doing too much tracking back there, but the ball is now spun out onto the right hand side for Gonzalo Borges, faced up by Noah Allen. Borges on his left foot, goes back to Otavio on the edge of the box. He's going to strike one. Good block by Alba. That's going to sting. Good drop over Vieira. He's forced to go back to the halfway line for Jose Pedro. 4 minutes of the 7 gone here in Atlanta. Still 2-1 to Inter Miami. Fabio Vieira just got a stat there that Porto have outshot Inter Miami 15-5, but the only score that matters in the top left of the screen, 2-1 to Inter Miami. Now here's William Gomez to the byline, cuts one back, and Ustari claims it well, takes the cash. Now he lies down, but I told you earlier he needs to be careful to get up here. If he goes beyond the 8 seconds, we're going to have a corner to Porto. And I think he has just released the ball in time there. Oscar Ustari, one of his defenders, it was Maximiliano Falcone who gave him the tap to say hurry up, can't do this. And now Lionel Messi has ended up in a heap on the ground just inside the Porto half, sorry, his own half. And now Lionel Messi, he's not averse to doing a little bit of time wasting techniques. There's Martin Anselmi on the Porto bench, not looking best pleased here. His side led 1-0 at half time. It was Messi who was caught by William Gomez. Porto led 1-0 at half time. Were far the better side. They dominated. Had so many opportunities right on half time. Couldn't score any of them. They were denied just about every way possible. A save from the goalkeeper, clearance off the line, and a strike from Alan Valera that came off the post, off Ustari's head, and somehow the ball didn't end up in the back of the net, whether it was a spin on the ball or what, but Ustari managed to claw it away before it went over the line. Free kick taken, Pico challenges with Gould for the header, but it'll drop for Otavio, and he clears long. Otavio, Samu chasing him, but well won there by Aviles. Now Busquets to Kremaski on the right hand side. Pico given away to Vieira, who nutmegs Messi in the centre circle. Now he needs to get going, just over a minute. Oh dear, and in this hurry there, Fabio Vieira has just played the pass straight into the Inter Miami dugout, and they're in no hurry to give that ball back. And is that the sound of this game just slipping away from Porto? Just a minute of added time to go. And Noah Allen is going to take his time down the touchline here to take this throw in. Suarez, they try to play him behind for Messi. It does get the Messi off Otavio. Pico, can he add a third here? Fafa Pico, good save by Ramos from close range. It's going to spin away out to the left hand side, and Porto will come away with it, but they're going to have to go from nearly all in their own corner. Gomez gives it away to Busquets. Now Messi into the box. Messi still going. Lovely skill from Messi to the byline. Saved by Ramos behind for a corner, but that will surely even kill enough time. This game is now surely in the bag for Inter Miami. Sergio Busquets, lovely ball in behind for Messi. Otavio got a touch to it. Still found its way to Messi. He touched it on to Pico, who had a shot. When you see that replay again, he probably could have played it into Luis Suarez, but didn't matter. And in the end, as Messi comes back at it, it takes a flick off of Claudio Ramos, and Jordi Alba very, very slowly making his way over to take this corner kick. We're over the 7 minutes here. He may not even get a chance to deliver it, Jordi Alba. I'd say as soon as he does, the full-time whistle will blow here in Atlanta. Jordi Alba plays it short, ball into the box, and it's all over. Inter Miami have beaten FC Porto here in Atlanta, and Lionel Messi is the match winner here. They were 1-0 down at the break. Samu's penalty after 8 minutes gave Porto the lead, and they dominated the first half. They should have had at least a second goal before the break. I asked the question at half time, would those missed chances go back to haunt them? And the answer was a resounding yes. Telasco Segovia with a stunning equaliser just 2 minutes after the break. He came on to a cutback from the right hand side and smashed into the roof of the net. But unfortunately for the Venezuelan, his goal will be overshadowed by the match winner 10 minutes after the break from Lionel Messi. Just a trademark Messi free kick, lifting one left-footed over the wall from the edge of the D and into the top corner. Just a stunning strike from Messi, and despite Porto putting on the pressure later in the game, Javier Mascherano's men hold on, and they will go joint at the top of Group A with Palmeiras, only behind the Brazilians on goal difference. Meanwhile, Porto will need to have a big win over ahly on the last day and hope that there's another defeat for one of those two between Palmeiras and Inter Miami. The Portuguese side are not out of this one yet, but that is a big blow for the Dragons as they're in their quest to make the knockout stages. Tonight, it is finished here at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Inter Miami 2, FC Porto 1. I've been Mark Strange. Thank you for joining me this evening. Remember, in an hour's time here, we've got Seattle Sounders versus Atletico Madrid, and at 2 a.m. UK time, it's the Champions of Europe.